We are live. So, hey everybody, we're back for another. I never know what to call this show, to be honest. It's probably why we don't get enough viewers because I don't pinpoint a game. But cool. I hear a cat.
Yeah, my cat, she wants attention. She picks a good time to.
All right, nothing wrong with that. I used to have cats. I don't anymore. I'm
But
stuck in an apartment, and I didn't want to pay the pet fee and all that.
it's okay. That's all right. She's a sweetheart. She just wants some attention. So,
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that at all.
nope.
I'm just waiting till I end up buying a house wherever I decide to live for good, and then I'll get me a cat and a dog and whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Weirdly enough, my microphone just kind of flopped over. I've got one of those blue snowballs. Works great, but the little extension arm thing I bought for it didn't always hold it very well. I don't think it was ever meant for one of those. It comes with its own little mini stand, but I like it on that arm. It's just kind of cool to pull a microphone in front of you.
Definitely.
And I just push it out of the way when I'm done. So it's, yeah.
Yeah, I'm low tech. I just have a headset with a with a mic. So, but hey, it
Yeah.
works.
Those work fine, but I don't know. They don't really have the clarity that like these.
No.
And even the snowball, it wasn't very expensive. I think I paid about $60 for it. 60, maybe 70, about 3 years ago or something.
Yeah, it's not bad at all.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. And the quality, it's been worth every penny.
Eventually, I'll upgrade my, all my stuff. Right now, I'm just trying to get through the day to day. The usual stuff.
I had been invited to be on, I don't know if I should even use his name. Wow, this just keeps falling over. All right, I got it so it can't fall over anymore, but it's like I'm using the chair arm for it to kind of stand on. Weird. But I was invited on a podcast, and they made a big deal about, well, you got to have a mic, you got to buy a mic, and whatever. And I knew it was a good idea, even though actually I can't remember if I had a headset with a mic back then. I might have had a cheap one or something. I'm pretty sure I did, but garbage ones, not a real good one. And so yeah, I just said, well, screw it, I'll buy one. I never did go on the show because it was one of those guys that flip flopped and had been all Xbox and went hard all PlayStation, and I didn't want to be on their podcast. Just I don't care that if you like PlayStation, that's all fine, but to suddenly hate one that you used to like, it didn't have to be that way.
I don't really see. I'm weird. I don't really understand hatred of any system because they all have something to bring to the table.
Yeah,
Some are better than others, sure, but
dude, it's absolutely insane that people will hate or love a piece of plastic.
I know.
And these guys' cases, and there's a couple of other ones. I think they think they're wrestlers, and by switching to the other console, they know they're going to be hated. So they think they're like a bad guy wrestler,
like a heel, yeah.
And they're
heel.
really on that low of a level that they believe that. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but that's how I felt, that these guys think they're like, the pro wrestlers on YouTube. It's just weird.
Well, depending on the podcast, it may also be for ratings. I mean,
yeah, it's
inflammatory and
trolling.
trolling.
We're doing it.
Yeah, and if you're looking for ratings and you want people, because even people who like Xbox will be like, hey, this isn't fair, blah 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 blah, and more people watch, and then next thing you know, more revenue.
I'm very guilty on Twitter of bitching about Sony all the time. But I just do it to get I guess I do it to piss off certain PlayStation guys that they're overboard. So I just do it for that. But I don't do it here on YouTube. Maybe a little bit I do, but not as much. When we talk, I don't come down too hard. Like the big news, I mean, it's all Xbox, man. That Bethesda deal finally.
Oh yeah,
I'm
glad they finally straightened out exactly what it's all about.
God, yes.
That was good. So now we know. Now we know for sure.
When Phil had said some that day, I screamed. I'm like, what the fuck? You can't do that. You have to be, they claim they're transparent. and then he just did not want to give an answer. And I think
Mm.
after they waited until Thursday, and then they realized, yeah, we can't let it go at that. We've got to tell them. And there was no reason that they didn't do it from the beginning. It was stupid.
And the fact they did it on a Thursday was kind of weird.
Yeah,
It's like, okay, I mean, it's fine, but it's just kind of random to me. I don't know. But hey, whatever. At least now we know. And I figured some of them would still be multi-platform, but I think it's going to eventually, like you said, move to all Microsofts. I mean, now they have all of that,
yeah.
so
That,
you know the
and
future's looking
I hate to
bright.
be crude about it, but the truth is, it's just a couple of trash games that are coming to PlayStation that are by contract because Sony dropped off that black bag, and so they made a couple of games for them that are exclusive for a year. And then all of the what I consider garbage games anyway. Uh, although I shouldn't call them that. There's some people actually love Fallout 76.
I don't.
Yeah,
I'm
most people
sorry.
don't, but people have stuck with it.
It's
They fixed most of the stuff wrong in it, by
it's
the way.
fine. I mean, if people enjoy it, that's cool. I'm
Yeah,
not gonna
I know
knock it like
my
that, but
oldest son, the one living in Germany. I know he had it and he actually liked it, but I don't know if he still plays it anymore. I'll have to ask him. We don't we talk on Sundays, but I don't know if he still does. And I know my youngest, he never play it. But yeah, it was interesting more for I think I found the interest in the whole fact that after the initial show or news wire or whatever it was on Tuesday, and he said some games will be exclusive. Wow, the ponies come out of the woodwork. Told you so. All these games are still going to be on PlayStation. Blah blah blah. And it was like, no, why would y'all do that? You know that that's no, that's not what they're doing. I mean, they're not.
to be honest, honestly, let's face it. Even if they are on PlayStation, they're gonna be best on Xbox. You know it's gonna happen. So, I
Yeah,
mean,
you can't do that. You can't spend money purchasing a company and put that product on a competitor. This is just not going to happen.
yeah,
And for them to be, jumping in joy and saying, yeah, because the whole thing is they don't want to buy a fucking Xbox. And that's where I get a little bit pissed off. I'm like, grow the fuck up, spend $300 and go get you an Xbox Series S. That's how you're going to play these games. So shut the F up, buy an Xbox. For the past 30 fucking years, if you wanted to play any of the Sony so-called exclusives, you had to buy a PlayStation. No big deal. That's what you have to do.
yeah.
You want to play God of War? Do you want to play
Hey, I
any of
mean,
those games? Do you want to play Spider-Man? You're
I'm
going
a
to have to buy a PlayStation.
I'm a
That's the way it works.
Nintendo. Yeah, I'm a bit of a Nintendo
Oh,
fanboy, and you
yeah,
want to talk about
Nintendo.
exclusive?
Yeah, it's exactly.
I mean, at
You
least,
see in Mario, well, I shouldn't say that. You can see hacks and ROMs and things on PC and other shit.
well,
You don't get the
yeah,
newest games.
yeah, but that's a little bit different.
And
That's like
Does
aftermarket,
come after people that sell and trade those kind of games online.
right? Yeah, but no, no, no. But I'm just saying in general. I mean, like Nintendo out of all of them is a little bit more exclusive than even Sony. Now Sony's at least releasing their stuff on PC, so you know, there's
Yeah,
that.
it's yeah. I think even a couple weeks back we talked about that. I was shocked when not so much that PlayStation games are now going to PC was back when Microsoft did it. I didn't even realize that all Microsoft games didn't go to PC. I was shocked. I didn't. I just always thought they did because mostly
No,
they
some do.
did. I guess it was later they would end up on PC, and I think maybe Microsoft gets that where people get it in their head that just because it's Microsoft exclusive, it'll come to other consoles. Was because most this was all during the 360 era, not the OG Xbox era, but all the big second party games that Microsoft had originally exclusive. When some of them had become massive hits, Microsoft couldn't control them. Sequels all ended up on everywhere's. Mass Effect, perfect example.
Oh
Microsoft
yeah,
bought it. They paid for the first game. It was exclusive, and but they couldn't stop the other ones from coming, and so they worked out a deal where they at least forced people to buy like all three in a package or something. I don't even remember because I had them on Xbox, but yeah, and so that stuff did happen, but that wasn't a Microsoft game, and when that mattered, they were forced to buy certain companies, and or create a new company to keep an IP going. But when it's somebody else's company or IP, Microsoft don't care. They've always, I mean, look at the perfect example is Cuphead.
Oh yeah.
Those guys showed up at some shows and were flashing their shit around. Microsoft took one look at it and said, "Hell yeah, here's a little bit of money to help you." And apparently it wasn't that much. Those guys they had already, I think, had put their houses remortgaged, added a second mortgage to their houses, and done some other shit to keep their company going. But Microsoft helped them. And that first game became exclusive to Xbox. But later, after sold its whatever copies, it wasn't never going to sell that much more. Microsoft was like, "Yeah, you want to put it elsewhere? Go ahead. It's your game, so yeah, you can."
Same thing with Ori.
Yeah, even that's even a better example because Ori, they actually did have the total exclusive right, but they just let Moon Studios do that.
That's just crazy. I mean,
Yeah,
it's cool.
well, good for business. It didn't hurt letting
It
that go
is.
to the Switch. That they're
It,
not.
it also helps that the port is excellent. I mean, they didn't mess it up. They could have just did a sloppy 30 frame a second, port. No, they did a 60 frame a second, pretty straight on for what it was. Port on the Switch, which was very impressive. And of course, I mean, yeah, on the Microsoft you have the 4K and all, which is cool. But just in general, it's just very, very clever. I watched a video of how they did it, and it was so clever. I mean, the dips and tucks that they did were just. I'm like, this is an example of how to port a game. Anyway, I'm kind of gushing over it, but yeah, no. I mean, it's
Ori is
still
a beautiful game, both of them,
yeah.
and they're fun. Although to be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of them. I played both, I own both, but I didn't.
It's not for everybody. I mean, it is a tough game too. I mean, for example, one game that's similar, well, in terms of style, that everybody absolutely loves, like upright left center, that I'm just like, is Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight, as much as I want to love that game, and as much as I enjoyed it going through it, it's too hard. And I know people like, well, get good. No, screw that. It's hard for the sake of being hard. It doesn't feel, and this is gonna get me hate mail, but whatever. It doesn't feel fair all the time. And I'm not talking about just the bosses. When you die, you lose your shade. So you have to gain them back. And the shade's in the same damn room as the boss. And the checkpoint or the save point that you get back to is never before the boss. It's way off in most cases, with one or two exceptions. And to me, it's just too brutal. It takes too long to get back to the boss because, like when you want to rage on something, you just want to get right back into it. You just want to just keep, slam it until you get it. To me, this is like it's a cool off period. You got to go all the way back. You got to without all your stuff, and then you kind of have to get back to the boss. You have to defeat your shade first and hope that you beat it before it beats you or the boss beats you. Because if you don't, then you really lose everything. Because once the shade's gone, it's gone. And I don't know. The mechanic didn't work for me. After going through that over and over again, I beat the game. I did beat the game finally, but after going through it all over again, I can't. It's not one of those games I could really play again and enjoy. That's just me. It's just. I think it's great that people love it and they love that super hard, Souls-like experience. To me, if I want a Souls-like experience, I'll play Dark Souls or Demon Souls.
Yeah, I don't like any of that full stuff.
Yeah, I'm just saying. It didn't work for me. That's the one thing that keeps it from greatness. Otherwise, the game is awesome. Great graphics, runs unbelievably well on every platform, including the Switch. The sound is excellent. The Metroid style map is outstanding. The way they formatted it, the way they created it and laid it out, It's just that difficulty. It just does not click with me. And again, people like will go up and down. I've had arguments with people about this, and that's fine. You like it, awesome. That's what it's there for, and it is a good game. It's just I don't look forward to the sequel if it's going to be more of the same. They just need an easier, slightly easier mode or better checkpoints. I can take the same difficulty, but saves just need to be before the bosses. That's it. That's all I ask. Anyway, all right, my rant's over.
No, that's fine. That's good. I'm actually scrolling through my games. It's embarrassing. I've been playing this game and I can't remember the name of it. And the stupid list. I mean, I got like 754 games. I always say 800, but it's actually 754 is what I've got on here. And that's ridiculous.
That's okay. I'm embarrassed to say, I like not just on one system, but just on all of them that I own. I'm not even going to go into how many I have.
I wish whatever was the last thing I played came up at like a bar at the top. It used to be that way, be on my front page. It didn't. Well, sometimes it shows up there. Let me go back and look, see if it's sitting there. Fuck no.
Yeah, they used to do that. Like
I played a little bit of Wolfenstein: The Old Blood, so it bumped it off that top line. Shit.
Yeah, it's only like the last one you played that shows up there now. I know.
But hang on. I'm never gonna find it. It's like a ninja game. It's by
that narrows it down.
It's like Axiom Verge and what else?
The Messenger. You talking about the Messenger? Oh, okay.
I don't know.
It's like Ninja Gaiden, but
like
it has
Blazing Chrome. It's like it's got an 8-bit look to it. The company put it out. It's been really big on Switch.
Devolver Digital?
No.
Okay, I was gonna say because
I've got other games with them on here too. As soon as one of them pops up, I'll recognize the company once I say the name. Oh, Cyber Shadow.
Oh, okay. Okay. That one.
Yeah, it's I've been playing a lot of it. I just like old school stuff like that. It's really got that.
No,
good
yeah,
to it.
I'm all about those.
I always said it went with 16 or more importantly, even like 32-bit graphics. I mean, the movement, the jumping in that game is wonderful. It's got a great feel to it. So why did they go with the 8-bit? I know it saves them a lot of money, but
that's probably the answer.
Better backgrounds and with a lot more detail.
I know. That's why I like the Messenger. It starts off 8-bit and then it goes right into 16-bit. And it's clever the way it does it. It does like a time jump, like in the future. So it jumps like into a more advanced graphic style. And it even like emulates like the old Mega Drive or Genesis.
I don't think I have that. I'm scrolling down.
That's a good one. I
highly Xbox, or is it only on Switch?
No, it should be on the Xbox. I think it's on everything.
I'm scrolling down to M's. I started Mad Max. I got all 3 Mafias, including the definitive edition.
Hold on, I'm gonna look it up.
Only the definitive edition on the original Mafia. I just got the regular Mafia 2 and 3. Marlon Briggs. What was it again?
The Messenger.
Yeah, I'm on Mega Man now, so MEs. Mercenaries, Medium, Metal Gears, lots of Metal Gears, lots of Metal Slugs.
Yeah, it's on Game Pass.
Huh. I will download it then. I'm going to Game Pass right now because I haven't downloaded it.
Yeah, it's really good. I think you'll really enjoy it. It's like Ninja Gaiden meets. I don't want to say people compare it to Metroid. I don't agree with that, but it's just an excellent game. It's just really. It starts off like 8-bitish, and then it gets really.
I'm just
really better.
Search and type it in.
Yep.
I see it. I can't believe I missed that. How did I miss that when it came out?
Don't know, but there it is.
That looks awesome. I definitely got to have this.
Yeah, you'll enjoy it. That's an example where it's tough but fair. I really, it's a hard game, but when
It's
you die,
insane.
it doesn't like kick you back like 10 levels. It does kick you back to like I think the beginning of a level at one point, but it's, I don't know, it just feels fair. So I think you'll really enjoy it.
Yeah, I love stuff like that. That's right down my alley. Yeah, last couple of days, like I said, I was sick as a dog, so I wasn't doing any gaming. I was just watching a lot of TV, feeling miserable. But good today. I've been
That's good.
watching kind of a depressing show. It's actually very entertaining, but kind of depressing. Mr. Mercedes.
I know of it. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, it's really good. It's one of those things you can watch free too on Peacock or whatever.
Hmm.
I mean, there's some commercials in it, but they don't put a lot in it. I didn't even mind it. In fact, I've noticed I have the premium version of Peacock and Hulu, and I still get a lot of commercials, but not, I shouldn't say a lot. I still get commercials. That wasn't a very big game at all. It's already installed.
Oh yeah, it's really small, but it's
Yeah,
great. Yeah, no, it's that's what I love about those indie games. They're so they have so much content, and they have a small footprint, and to me they're just worth it. They're like so much cheaper. I mean, you got it free on Game Pass, but even if you bought it, it was like
oh,
20
Game
bucks.
Pass.
And on sale it was like 5. Yeah, it was just great. I actually bought the physical version. I loved it so much. Just to
Yeah,
support
if
the
I don't
company.
have it finished by the time it's leaving Game Pass, I'll just buy it. It probably won't be much.
Oh, it won't be. Yeah, and it's worth it. It's worth every penny.
I bet I've probably bought 10 games over the last couple of years. And that doesn't sound like a lot, but probably about 10 games that was in Game Pass. And then I realized it was leaving Game Pass soon. I'm like, fuck, I didn't even play that. Or I haven't finished it. So I'm buying it. And
So, okay, so I want to ask you. So, since I don't have Game Pass yet, I know why, but I will get it. Um, but if you have a game in Game Pass and you're playing it and it leaves Game Pass, does it stop you from playing it?
it's
Even
gone.
though,
Even though
okay,
you downloaded it they don't let you,
so
but
it's
they
like
give you fair
Netflix.
warning.
A little bit.
They
All
give
right,
you fair warning, but and you can purchase it so you can keep right on playing.
that's cool. Okay, that's cool. I like that.
Yeah, and they leave most games stay a minimum of a year, so it's not like they're popping out after a month like Sony does. They leave them in there quite a while.
Yeah, the only thing about the way Sony does it is you get to keep it as long as you have your subscription active. Or now, actually, with the PS5 now, what they're doing with certain games, they're just giving it to you for free. Once you have it, it's
Yeah,
yours.
well, that's
So,
the same way on the Xbox side too. I have
yeah.
hundreds and hundreds of free games. Uh, and the thing about Game Pass is like all the first party games never leave. Right
Yeah, I
now,
would
there's
imagine it would.
367 games in Game Pass,
Wow.
and they're all good. There's not garbage in there, man. It's. I'm telling you, it's the real deal.
Oh, I know it.
It still blows my mind that they were willing to invest that heavily to get a subscription service going.
I'm
Because
just waiting.
everybody wants to compare it to Netflix, but Netflix for 10 years was mailing out disc as a
Oh,
company.
right. Yeah.
And then had probably two, no, three, no, maybe even 4 solid years where they did both. They had the streaming before they started actually purchasing their own programs. And I think they didn't really mean to do a lot of their own content, but once that they had, their subscriptions got so big and they realized other companies were going to follow them, that they needed to start getting exclusive content, and they went on like a crazy spending spree that they're.
Yeah. They got, I mean, I'm very happy with my Netflix. I actually just got Disney Plus. I know. I'm late
Oh,
to
I
I'm
got it too. You got to have it, man. I,
I'm
I
late to the
got
party, but I
being sick Thursday, and I just, for something in my head, oh, Winter Soldier, Falcon and Winter Soldier tonight. And so I'm like, no, I'm gonna wait till Friday. I'll wait till Friday. And so I waited. And it was like Friday afternoon. And I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna watch it. And I went on. At first, I didn't see it, and then it looked like I clicked on it, and I clicked on Captain America and the Winter Soldier, and so So I ended up just watching it again. I've probably seen that movie 10 times, but
It's a good one. That's a
yeah,
really
it's
good
one
one.
of the better ones of all those Marvel ones. It's amazing movie. And watching it again, yeah, just and I own the Blu-ray, but yeah, it just looked amazing, and those fight sequences are just so fast. You know,
I love those. I'm more of a fan of when they don't do too many cuts and they just have speedy, none of the slow mo
yeah,
crap.
the fighting on the boat at the very beginning of it, I was
Yeah,
worried because there was a little bit of shaky cam going on there, but I understood it because they were trying to show you the whole deck and moving
yeah,
and all
yeah,
that. But the fighting was still amazing, and then there was no more shaky cam after that. Anyway, the rest of the movie was
yeah. It was just
and the
going.
whole and having that massive a fight in that elevator was just fucking amazing.
That was so well choreographed.
Yeah,
I know, and it was funny
uh,
too. The buildup of it. They just come in and that's
I
one of the
did enjoy the
highlight.
WandaVision that was just on, but I still believe the first two episodes were not necessary. And you can just start on episode 3 and you've not missed anything. But they're well worth watching.
I will definitely watch all of this stuff. I just have to sit down and actually do it. Like I said, I just
Before WandaVision, if you haven't seen the Mandalorian, that's where you got to go. Holy
okay,
fuck!
yeah.
If you're a Star Wars fan, and I'm just,
Oh,
I'm sure
my
you are.
wife is. She's more than I am, but I certainly will enjoy it.
There's a lady that does YouTube videos. I can't. She's got a weird name. Spawn Gen X. And she's like our age. You know, she's like probably older than you, but younger than me, somewhere's in between. And you can tell she's not ever been big into YouTube or anything like that. And for some reason, she decided to do her own little podcast about being a disgruntled Star Wars fan and seeing how this Mandalorian was. And wow, she keeps them at about 10, 12 minutes long. She goes over all the high points of each episode, and it's really enjoyable. And I'd already seen all the episodes. In fact, I'd seen all of season 2 before I started watching her videos, where she was just now watching season 1. But it's really interesting. Gen X spawn point, something like that's what she calls it. But she just sits on like a couch with a blanket thrown over it.
You got me with Gen X.
But
But yeah, that sounds cool. I had to
yeah,
get.
it's a nice little YouTube show that's non-controversial, and seeing somebody of an adult talking about things that because she had been like such a huge Star Wars fan after the first 3 movies. And, it was all downhill after that. The
Yeah,
prequels sucked, and or at least the first one sucked really bad. The second one was a little better, but it's still good. And the third one was actually pretty good.
yeah. I like the third one the best of the
And
three.
then
Although
these
it
new
still couldn't hold a
movies,
candle to the first three. You know, the
yeah,
fourth.
and then the back 3 movies. The first one was watchable, but it wasn't that good. And the second, third one was just god awful shit. And I didn't even watch all the third one. I honestly could not finish it. And I'm like, this is garbage, and just clicked it off. I don't know what they were thinking. Star
Yeah,
Wars should be nothing about woke or women empowerment and all that. It's like, what the effing? It's Star Wars. It's supposed to be like a pirate movie in space or a swashbuckler in space. That's all it was. The love of those kind of 1930s and 40s, um, what do they call them? Where they were like serials that was shown in movie theaters. Lucas had a fondness for that, and then that's what he was trying to do, that kind of movie. And now it's like about men are weak and women are empowered. It's like, no, that's Star Wars ain't gonna do that fucking shit. Keep politics out of the fucking movies. Unless it's a movie about politics, then that's different kind of animal, and those are usually okay. But something that's just a space movie thing does not need that crap in it.
yeah. One of them. Oh man, I wish it didn't. Movie that was like that, or I should say, show that was like that. That had a follow up movie. At least it had a good arc. Was Firefly and the movie Serenity. that was like Cowboys in Space. That
Oh
was
yeah, it was awesome.
amazing. I mean,
The
it was just
last
pure
good
gold.
thing Whedon's ever done, and I don't know if he's ever going to be allowed to do anything now because the women of Hollywood are on him. I guess he's a bit of a beast on set and not always treating actors really
Yeah,
well. And some of them female actors are they're complaining about him now, and
yeah. I'm a little surprised. It goes all the way back to Buffy, even the complaints. You
yeah.
never heard about it until like now.
But most of the great directors in Hollywood have always been like tyrants on set, screaming at actors and stuff. And it was just that's just the way it was. But man, things have changed. Even out in Hollywood, you can't do that crap, and you can't just make a movie or show. I don't even. Probably shouldn't even talk about stuff like this because I'll get myself in trouble. Because you have to cast a certain way, and you have to have certain characters, certain sexual things has to be covered in every show. And I just don't get it. If somebody writes something and you film that what it was written about, and if that's part of it, that's great. But now it's like it's mandatory. You have to have this, that, and that in your show or in your movie. And if you don't, they will protest you. They will cause you so much problems. And that's just so wrong on so many levels.
Yeah, it's they're controlling the creativity and content, and that's well, yeah. I'm not gonna get into that, but
Yeah, we need to stop now because I will get
yeah,
myself in trouble. It's because I'm not the most politically correct person. And
I will
at
say
my
this.
age, I don't have to be.
I get
But
it
I
from
do have to kind of be because we're out on the internet. This is
right. No, no, I
even though
agree.
nobody's watching right now. Damn it,
Yeah,
somebody
but
may
it's
and get offended, and
once it's out there, it's out
it's
there. It
out
lives
there.
forever. Yeah,
5 years from now, somebody will be
and
replaying a clip and be
I'll
saying
say
something stupid.
this. I'll say this just to and maybe this people will consider this a cop out, but this is truly how I feel. I see it from both angles, and I'll leave it at that. I get it.
Yeah, there have
So
been certain cultures and certain people left out of movies and TV shows. Uh, yeah, that's the truth. But
so
again, I just look at everything has to be looked each property as a unique thing. And I think we tested on this a few weeks ago about the having a black Superman. And
right. Yeah.
I kind of don't really have a problem with that, although I don't think it's needed. But Superman's case, yeah, he's an alien, so and I could see some interesting stories if you get the right guy writing and stuff. But I don't know. I just again, you have to be careful because you don't want to come off the wrong way talking about stuff
Oh,
like
sure. Well, I think it would be cool if they do it right. I mean, it requires a good script, a good actor, and
well, it's definitely I would hope they would put Michael B. Jordan in it. I mean, they're
that'd be
already
cool.
putting the Superman outfit on him and putting it out on Twitter and other places.
Yeah.
But that don't mean he's the one to be cast, or if they're even doing it. Who knows? But
Well, Ryan Coogan would be great for a director. I think he did great
yeah,
with
he's
Black
he's
Panther,
kind of
and
locked into Marvel. I don't know that he could go do a DC thing.
uh,
And the
then
problem with
Whedon
it,
did. I mean, not
yeah,
have to bring him up again, but yeah, he did the first two Avengers movies, and
yeah,
now he's doing DC.
but he was kind of he wasn't really shit canned by Marvel, but basically Feige told him, "You do the fucking movie the way I'm telling you to do it, or we're gonna get other people."
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what happened, and it's the truth. And he kind of just slumped off and said, "Well, get somebody else. I won't do the third one." And they were,
and they did, and it was a good thing. I'm sorry,
yeah,
I love Whedon's Avengers movies. Trust me, I do.
the
But
first one. I didn't care as much for the
yeah,
second
Ultron
one.
was okay. Yeah, Ultron was
It was
okay,
okay,
but
but
the ones that preceded them were amazing, especially Endgame and
yeah, they were just
the
way
Infinity War.
bigger and way more. That was I just don't think Whedon had that in him for that kind of movie. And all you had to do is actually what I was just talking about the the Captain America and the Winter Soldier. You
Yeah,
watch that, and I realized watching it, I was like, "Oh, I see why they got rid of Whedon.
well,
They knew they had these two guys to make the
yeah,
next Avengers movie.
right. They actually did all three. Well, I
Yeah,
think they
well,
even did. I
four.
think they did more than just those
They
three. I
did
think they did
four. They
four of
did
them.
the
Just Civil War.
It's the arc that finishes everything, but it's
Yeah.
also the Captain America arc of Captain America, Winter Soldier. Uh, oh crap! What was the one before the two Avengers movies? The one with
Civil
that in the
War.
airport scene.
Let's see. There was Civil War. There
Civil War. That's it.
was. Yeah. Okay.
Captain America, Winter Soldier, Civil War, and the two. Well, and of course, the first was a different director for the first Captain America movie, but the they pretty much completed his arc and everything,
Right.
as they did everything with the last two movies. But I have a hard time now going back to watch those last two because they're so huge and so much going into them that I'd rather do like what I did, yesterday. I just out of the blue watched just, Captain America: The Winter Soldier, just one single movie.
I have to pause for 1 second, but I'll be right back.
Hey, that's fine. I got this. I am seeing something weird. I've got to move across my television screen. Huh. I think it's got something to do with my internet. I get that a lot on my bigger TV in the living room. Strange stuff. But yeah, how about Microsoft? All them wonderful Bethesda games. And my thing is, all you PlayStation fanboys, anybody that tunes in later on this, it's not a big deal. Get over it. Buy an Xbox. And I know they've got other options. Oh, you can play on the phone or you can play on your tablet. Yeah, that's crap, and we all know it.
I'm back.
People. I'm making a point about the whole just buying Xbox for saying, yeah, they have avenues. With the whole play on your phone and your tablet. Yeah. And I'm like, nah, ain't nobody doing that shit. Just buy a fucking Xbox. Okay, you don't need that other crap. Okay, although that comes with it, you'll be able to do that if you want to. But
yeah, I don't know. I've played a little of like Stadia because I got the free controller and all that, just because they were doing that for free if you had the YouTube, and it worked well enough, but it's not the same as you having it native on your console.
Yeah, I don't know if they're ever going to get it that way. By the way, streaming is. Well, I don't know. Movies. There was a time. I couldn't tell you how many years back, but I swore up and down that streaming movies was never going to be the way, and I was not going to do it. And I buy hundreds and thousands of movies over, my lifetime. I still got 400 or 500 freaking laser discs. But you know what? Yeah, streaming's fine. Now, I never minded watching stuff over cable. The quality was, for tube TVs, cable was what it was.
Yeah.
And even when, when the high def came along, cable gave you high def. That was fine. But streaming was different. And the thought of in the middle of a movie, all of a sudden you get the little spinning wheel, and no, I was not going to be tolerant of that.
No.
But now I don't even think twice about it. I watch more shit streaming than I do out of my own collection, and I rarely buy many movies anymore.
They got the codecs right. They got the, because even at a lower, like, even if your internet isn't the best, the codecs are set up so they buffer it enough and cache it enough and lower it enough where, yeah, it'll still stream and not pause very often unless you truly have a stoppage. It's impressive. It really is. I mean, it didn't used to be that way. I remember Real Player. That was terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, it was okay for its time. It's a product of its time, but yeah, that was my first, experience with streaming, and that was just this little window, maybe 300 by 200 pixels, grainy as anything. I mean, my God, it was horrible. Yeah, we watched it. Yeah, we were like, yeah, okay, this is cool.
All these streaming channels and stuff. Every so often, I'll see something that I already own, like a DVD, and I'll start watching it on the streaming channel. And I'll say, holy shit. And then I forget that these movies are all being streamed in minimum 1080p. And in some cases, 4K, but most are streamed in 1080p. But
You
They
know
look
what?
better than my DVDs, and I'll go get the DVD out. It makes me so mad. I'll go get that DVD out and pop it in and pop back and forth and be like, yeah, fuck, I need an upgrade. But I'm not going to go buy a Blu-ray just because that particular DVD that, yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, yeah.
And
There's
they
some.
still put everything out on DVD, which blows my mind how people still buy those. I mean, I get buying Blu-ray or 4K, but not DVDs.
I don't know either. They're cheap. I think that's why.
Yeah,
And
it is.
honestly, if you just want to watch the show, that's not a bad way to do it. I mean, if you don't care about high def, and especially if you have a smaller television, you're fine.
Yeah.
You know,
I've
look a
got
little
about
blurry, but
20 4K discs, give or take, but the last thing I bought was Blade, the original Blade movie. I bought that on 4K when it dropped.
that's a
I
good
don't
one.
think I've bought anything since then. It's been a couple months. And that might have been out even before I bought it, but I just seen it at a Best Buy when I
I get
snapped
them.
it up and ran to
Uh,
the counter.
honestly, I get them like Black Friday when they're like super cheap.
Yeah.
That's then I'll stock up and I'll be like, okay, I want this. Um, yeah, as I can. But yeah, I haven't. I can't say. I don't even know what the last movie we bought was. I think it was It Chapter Two on 4K, just because it was cheap.
I didn't buy that one on 4K. I just got the Blu-ray. I think that worked out that way because I bought the first one on Blu-ray and I didn't. I'm like, well, I'm not going to buy the second one in 4K.
It's
And I haven't watched it yet.
it's
It's still
okay.
sitting
I
in
mean,
front of the TV. Yeah, that's what I've heard, so I haven't cared that I haven't watched it.
it's actually
I
okay. So
like the first one.
the movie itself, okay, it's not as to be honest, it's actually decent, but the first one, it's kind of the opposite of what people complained about the first one. The first one, they're like, well, it deviated from the book here, and missed out this. The sequel kind of follows the book a little too closely, so it's like a little uneven in that respect, but it's still pretty good. Um, what is it? Would I recommend it? Sure. Would I recommend going out of your way to get it? No. But if you have it, just watch it, and I think you'll enjoy it. If you like the first one, you'll like the second one, but just don't expect
When you say the
slam
first
dunk.
one, though, you mean like It Part One, the
Oh,
newest
yes. The
yeah.
first, I should say
You're
the
not
first
talking about the
half.
mini series from back in the
No,
day.
no, no,
I
no. The
like that
first
too a lot.
that
Tim
was good
Curry was
too.
excellent.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Yeah. No, it's closer to the book than the miniseries was. In terms of the second part,
Yeah.
but it's not. It's not as it's not as good as part one. The first half. Um, that's just my opinion. You watch it, you'll see yourself. Just don't go in expecting part one. You'll be fine.
Well, I've been waiting to get a little more time in between since I watched Part One, and I thought I'd rewatch it, and then the
That's a
second
good
part
idea
with it.
because it does literally start. Well, it starts exactly where you think it does in the book. It basically there's a time jump, and they're all adults now. What's good about what I liked I did like what they did in part two is they got the kids back and they filmed a lot of the flashbacks with the kids still, so it does at least have that link to the first, the part one. So at least if you do watch it, I do recommend watching one and two together to get the whole experience.
Yeah. Speaking of those streaming channels, I got the not the Paramount one. I'm not getting another one. That pisses me off. That CBS All Access is now Paramount Plus, but that's where they're going to be showing Halo. But yeah, who knows when that'll finally make it out? Showtime's making it. Why don't they just show it on Showtime? But
Yeah, I'm a little
I
surprised
guess
at that.
somehow CBS/Viacom actually owns Showtime. Apparently, I never knew that before, but I do know it now.
Yeah,
But
but I'm still surprised they didn't show it on
I
Showtime.
got the other one, the other big one, and I'm actually paying for it. Oh crap! Here, I'll have to bring it up. It's the one with the movies that go direct.
I'm sorry. That describes a lot of things.
No,
Um,
instead of going to their day and date with theater, they're on the channel.
HBO.
Yep, HBO Max.
Okay.
I bought that one, and what's cool about that? weeks and weeks ago, I think I told you I was watching not the original animated Batman, but the show that the one that came after
The
that. It was
Batman? Yeah.
the Batman. It was done by the same people,
Hmm.
but or half the same people. But anyway, I had those on DVD, and with animation, DVD is pretty damn good. You don't always need to jump up to Blu-ray there, but that show is on there, all of them, and they stretched them, and it didn't screw them up any. They look great, so they fill your full screen. I was kind of impressed with that because generally, if you take a 130, was it 133 by 3 or whatever they call that, the
Yeah, the 4x3.
yeah,
Four
TV
by three.
aspect ratio,
133,
and
yeah.
you stretch it to the
Oh, I know. Everybody looks like they gain weight and like everything's oval. Yeah, I know.
and with animation, you can get away with it with like clunky kitty cartoons and stuff. But I had no idea they'd be able to get away with Batman. I don't know how they did it, but it looks
Well,
absolutely fine, and it didn't look. At first, I thought, well, did they stretch it or did they blew it up? Is what they've done, but it didn't make it any grainier or look any worse.
well, the thing about blowing it up too is that then you lose the data
Well,
on the top and bottom.
but it's just a sliver. I've put in my disc and went back and forth and looked at the same
Well, that's pretty
episode,
good.
and I'm like, fuck, I can't even see what hardly tell what's missing. And so it's like,
Hey,
good
that's good.
job. Yeah, good job. It's because that's an excellent animation show. Doesn't get near the credit it deserves. It came and went. I guess because the original show was so popular and so famous or groundbreaking or whatever that this one just yeah.
Yeah, I love that show. I was so disappointed when it only lasted like one season. I was like, didn't get the respect it deserved.
No, it ran 4 years.
Really?
Yeah, I've got all 4 seasons. Or it might even be 5 seasons. Hold
Whoa,
on.
then I'm missing. Wait a minute, I'm missing something here. Okay, I gotta go back and look at this. I thought it only ran one season.
Uh, 5 seasons. But now
Whoa.
there's not a lot of episodes each season.
Maybe you know what? Maybe that's what threw me off because I was thinking, like a
13
season.
episodes a season's what it is.
Okay, maybe I was just thinking because it was like the original Batman, the anime series had like 60 something episodes.
Yeah,
That
this has
that was one.
62 episodes
Okay,
total.
maybe yeah, you're probably right then. Yeah, my bad. That's yeah. Okay. Either way, it's a great show.
Yeah, it is. It had its own one little movie, Batman versus Dracula.
Yeah, so that was fun.
But
I find DC does great animation, whereas Marvel's animation is just eh. Where the opposite's true with live action. Marvel's awesome and DC's eh. That's just my perspective of the. I mean, I know it's oversimplification of it, but
no, it's got to do with Warner Brothers. Was way bigger than animation. Marvel's not an animation company; they were a comic book company, so they had to go to different people to get stuff made, and depending on what animation house in Asia that they used and stuff, some of it wasn't very good, and yeah, it's just the way it worked out. Where Warner Brothers was, been making movies or cartoon movies since the 50s, 40s. Bugs Bunny
yeah.
and so on. So yeah, and they was on the studio on the lot at Warner Brothers. Has always been a big animation house. Now they too farmed their stuff out to Asia for the actual animation, but they always had American guys or whoever was producing the shows would do the original sketches and color schemes and all that, and then it all gets sent to Asia for it to be put together and made. But yeah.
Oh yeah, I love watching all the animations. I mean, even their weaker ones are still pretty good.
Yeah, there's been not one but two really good X-Men shows.
I like the original X-Men.
Yeah, and I even like the one after that. I forget what it was called. It was like a younger X-Men.
Oh yeah. I can't think of it either, but yeah, I know exactly what you
Yeah,
mean.
that one was
That
really
was
good.
good.
And
Yeah.
there's been two, maybe three different Spider-Mans that were great. But and there's been a couple of really, really bad Spider-Man ones. Some of the early stuff was really just hideous and
It was, hey, when I was a kid and I watched
animal
that, I thought it
messed
was
up.
cool. I watch it now and I'm like, yeah, this is hokey. But, back then,
Yeah, I can remember watching the Spider-Man and Friends where he had
yep.
the
And
like a short guy and a
Firestarter and,
chick.
yeah, Firestarter, Iceman,
Yeah,
and of course, Spider Man, Peter.
yeah, those were pretty bad.
Although you had Stan Lee, he was actually narrating them. So I got that.
Yeah,
It's like, Stan Lee here. I'm like, who? I was a kid. I didn't know the difference. But now I'm like, oh, yeah.
it took those latter series. I think it pretty much all started with Batman when they finally got it right, and then there was a bunch of good cartoon series after that.
Oh, yeah. I think Batman was like the renaissance of that. Uh, no one expected that. I didn't expect that. Because honestly, I'll be honest, I didn't care for the original Batman movies, the Tim Burton ones. Now, they're the better ones. I recognize that. But in terms of the movie, I was just like, yeah, they're okay. And then,
The first one was pretty good for the whole.
yeah, the second one
I
was,
had Jack Nicholson as the Joker and that and all that. But yeah, I know what you're talking about because
yeah,
it wasn't. It was all filmed on sets, first of all,
right.
so it had a fake look to it, which always bugged me a lot. I love things to be shot on location and just to look real. Uh, Sometimes though, it's okay to do the sets when you're doing. That was where some of the crazy shit from the latter two that was where they switched directors and I don't know.
Oh, it turned into a bad comic book movie. I mean,
Yeah, it was almost
that's what
like
it
the old
was. But
show, but if you look at that first one with Val Kilmer, that actually had that was pretty awesome. I mean, it went, hey, we're
that was
going to make
okay.
a kids movie. Uh, we're going to sell McDonald's burgers, and we don't care. That's what we're doing here.
Yeah, and
And it
then
was so over the fucking top. They let those guys do whatever they want. I
and
just thought that
then
was great.
and then George Clooney version happened.
Oh yeah, then it by that time it yeah, it was just that one was just the worst.
I should we should probably not even ever talk about that again. But um,
Fat nipples and a
oh god,
snotty Robin who was like way too fucking old.
it was just bad. But anyway, yeah. But anyway, after the movies, I was just like, with Batman, and I always liked Batman, but it was just. I didn't really click with me until I watched the cartoon. They announced the cartoon, and I actually watched the premiere on television. I was like, all right, I'll watch this because it was on prime time. Like, I got nothing better to do. I was just a kid. It was a Sunday night, and I was like, whoa, this is way
Yeah.
better than the movies. And then I started
Well,
watching every
it was
single
stronger
episode, and
after
I
the
was just
second
like,
movie. It was
yeah,
stylized off of Burton's work, but much more stylized. They took it their own way, gave it that Art Deco look that his
yep,
didn't actually have. Uh,
and it just fit. I mean, it just the whole thing just clicked. Everything. I mean, like they have interviews with Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill, and they did when they did the voices, they watched the end result. They were like, "Whoa!" They're like, "We didn't expect this." Like, like what they were doing voices and what they were seeing, and they didn't see when they saw the finished product. They realized just what a production it really was. Like what above and beyond just your standard like Saturday AM cartoon,
yeah,
which was pretty amazing. So it was like, wow, because they had the orchestra, they had the Art Deco, they just everything. Like I said, just clicked. It's just
yeah, and like I said, that the Batman right after it was, the budget was brought down a little bit, and it was some of the same people. It wasn't all the same, but it was
yeah,
quite a bit of the same people doing the show.
but it was still quality. I mean,
The thing is, most of the people that went on that do the DC movies now, the animation movies, they all came out of that second show. Some were in the first two, but that Andrea, whatever her name is, that does the voice casting, all that,
yeah,
she wasn't on the first show. She was on the Batman, and yeah, and the one guy that's directed probably 6 or 7 in a row now, or I don't know how many, but he's done a bunch. can't think of his name, but he's a Asian guy that's really good. He's done a whole bunch of them, and he was part of that group of people that did the second show. You know, there was a third show that came a few years after the first two, but I never cared for it. Had the guy that used to be on Drew Carey's show. I don't know his name. He was on Drew Carey, and he played Jethro on the Hollywood remake movie, The Beverly Hillbillies.
Okay.
That guy, he's Dieter something or whatever, but he was the voice of Batman in the
Yeah. Oh yeah, Batman Brave and Bold. That was it.
And it wasn't as bad as all that, but
Teacher Baker or something.
Yeah, it more reminded me of going back to the Super Friends than Batman the animated series. It's like, why do you want to go back?
I know. Although it
don't need Batman. I'm sorry, they just don't.
It did have some clever. It did have some clever episodes. It really did. I mean, they kind of went their own direction with it. I appreciated it for what it was.
Well, they wanted to have a Batman for I said 3 or 4 year olds, but actually for like 5 to 8 year olds was its age group target. And I get it. You know, I mean, I loved the Teen Titans show, but they went to adult and it got them axed. And then they come back with a kiddie version.
I do not like Teen Titans Go. I'm not a fan.
It's horrible. Yeah.
The best episode is when they actually met their originals. Yeah. And they're like, this is too ridiculous.
A lot of the same people that did the original Teen Titans work on Teen Titans Go. Teen Titans was getting great ratings. They basically said that they wanted something that little girls would watch too and buy toys for, and that no little girls was buying toys from I didn't know they were selling Teen Titan toys, and I just don't think any TV show or animation should be based on how many toys are sold on whether or not you're going to.
That's all it's ever been about.
I know, it's just horrible. So they canceled a great show that was in its apex. It needed at least another season or two, and it never got. But yeah, whatever. And then now they come back with what it was supposed to originally be, was a little kids show. And I guess we're lucky we got 4 or 5 seasons of the original Teen Titans, because that was just so amazing.
Oh yeah, I had the whole series on DVD.
The Japanese version of the theme song, and sometimes it would switch to widescreen and change aspect ratios and stuff. I'm like, you got to be shitting me. This is so fucking advanced, and people aren't even getting it. This Teen Titans, it's the real deal.
Yeah, it really is. You really just got to watch it and, really just appreciate it for what it was.
Yeah. Although what it was supposed to be was a kid show for 5-year-olds, and it wasn't. They just
it was definitely a teenage teen show
for a much older audience, and it eventually caught up to them. And that's the way it goes.
But
they did one movie there. What was that? Teen Titans in Tokyo or something?
Yeah, that was good too.
Yeah. I'd hope they was going to bring that series back, but I don't know if they can bring it back the same now. It's been so long.
Now, Teen Titans Go was actually a hit for them. Okay.
Yeah, that's the other thing, that it sold the toys they wanted to get sold, and it's gotten the ratings they want. So,
yeah. So,
I mean, God, they even had a movie theater movie for Teen Titans Go.
Yeah.
The original Teen Titans never got no movie theater movie. They got a movie, but it was just straight to DVD.
Right. Oh well, that's what it is. It's kind of like when they cancel the Thundercats, the reboot, because the toys, apparently more girls. There's something about more girls were buying the toys than the boys, and they canceled it because of the toy line or lack thereof. And
keep on going with this. I'm going to walk away from.
Yeah. So they canceled it because the toy line wasn't selling the way they expected it to. And that was just, it ended on such a cliffhanger because they just introduced Vulture-Man, and it was really good. It was just starting to hit its stride when they canceled it. And then, of course, the next thing that they did, which I, again, like Teen Titans Go, was not a fan of. In fact, unlike Teen Titans Go, I don't think it did very well, was Thundercats Roar, and that was just a slap in the face.
You know what's coming back? It's got the old boy that did Clerks, Kevin Smith. Somehow he finally decided to make something real again. I know he's made a few movies over the last few years, but nothing spectacular. He actually did a couple of horror movies of all things, or horror comedy, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, he's branched out a few different directions.
Yeah, and then he finally did another Jay and Silent Bob movie, which but he's in the middle of filming a TV show now. It's not a movie, but He-Man and Masters of the Universe.
Yeah.
I'm amazed at, and I'm glad he's doing it because he's into geeky things, and
Oh yeah.
you got to have the right showrunner behind stuff like that. And I think
He's a hardcore comic geek and toy geek, so yeah, I think that's good.
I hated the cartoon. I mean, because I was already way too old when it came out. I was already an adult and just thought it was total garbage. And I got the homosexual. Wow, this is not appropriate, but the gay overtones of that show back in the day, because I was too old to be watching cartoons. But I've always watched them, no matter how, I still do. But yeah, but I love the movie. I mean, it didn't go to a major studio. It went to a wannabe studio. I can't even think of their name now offhand. They made a lot of big movies at the time. Was it Canon behind that?
I don't
look that up while we're talking, but I just loved it. It had it was great cast, and here I'm googling that shit.
Is that the She-Ra, the one where they introduced She-Ra? Is that the one you're talking about?
I don't know. I'm just talking about the movie with. Here we go. I don't want the show. Oh yeah, the movie actually made 22. That's its budget. Never mind. Hold on. I want to see. That don't make any sense. This is production company Columbia. I'm telling you, Columbia did not make Masters of the Universe movie. I'm looking.
Oh wait, you're talking about the live action one.
Yeah, 1980 Masters of the Universe.
Okay.
I actually like the live action movie. What was it? Dolph Lundgren is.
Yeah, Dolph Lundgren was the.
Yeah, and more importantly, the bad guy was famous actor. And I'm looking for his name. Here we go. Frank Langella played Skeletor, which was, I mean, he'd played Dracula, and it was pretty. I guess his career was already kind of on the downside. He ended up there, but I don't know. I just liked it. It was a B movie.
It was okay. I mean, the thing is that, but the studio, one of the studios, literally just reneged on the budget. So,
yeah, that's because it was one of those.
It was just,
I'm looking all that shit up on it right now. Although I'm not talking too bad about the blah 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 and all that, but yeah, it had some real problems back in the day.
It was supposed to be so much more than it was. I know that.
Well, the thing people need to know and understand about it was directed by Albert Puyan, who's like king of the not just B movies, he's king of the Z level movies. And I love him, by the way. He's got one of the greatest action movies ever made, and it was on a shoestring budget. I can't even remember the guy's name, the actor. But he basically keeps getting like enhanced body parts from being shot or hurt or whatever. And then he goes on a mission. I don't know what you want to. I don't even know the name of the movie, but I got a copy of it on Laserdisc back in the day. But I'm not going to be able to think of that right now. That'll about 3 a.m. That's going to pop into my head.
Of course.
In bed.
Yeah.
But anyway, Albert Pian. Anything he does is worth watching. He did one of Von Damme's movies. One of his earlier ones where he's going across a wasteland with some chick that's, I guess, pregnant or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that almost sounds like the premise for the Mad Max Fury Road.
Yeah, it actually was that almost same thing. It was either that or she was carrying a cure to a virus or something. That's been done in some of those post-apocalyptic movies.
Right.
Pugh did the one that Von Damme was in. It was really good. But it wasn't his best movie. His best one was that one I was talking about. And Pian, whatever. He also did Captain America. And actually, for the low end for Canon, low budget, but yeah, it's pretty good. It was only made because it was one of those things where I think they were afraid they were going to lose the rights or something.
Right.
And he was promised a massive budget, and then he got nothing to make it. But it wasn't too bad. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but
You talking about the original one?
well, it was a TV movie. I'm not talking about that. This was an actual movie theater movie. It was a little better than the TV one they did.
Then I don't think I did see it. No, I think I just saw the TV one.
Googling Captain America. It's hard to find it now because once Marvel started making Captain America, they didn't want people watching Albert Pian's movie. There was like a Fantastic Four movie done like that never got released. That was done probably 10 years, maybe 12 years before Fox made the first Fantastic Four movie. They'd been one made low budget because the rights holder at that time simply had to make the movie or they were going to lose the rights. So they made a cheapest, most crappiest movie possible throw together. And I've got a bootleg copy of it. But yeah, it was pretty bad. But it was a comic book movie, and I had to have it. I think the first time I come across it was in a video store in Alaska. It totally just made me top Captain Alaska again. Good God. The Captain America First Avenger and that shit Civil War come up.
Captain Alaska. That's like the knockoff.
But yeah, Albert P.M. made a Captain America movie, and it wasn't too bad. I think Red Brown was the guy that played Captain America in it. Let's see. Let me hit search again and scroll. I guess maybe scroll far enough it'll come up. About Captain America Wikipedia. It might be hidden under Wikipedia somewhere.
It's got to be out there.
It's not very good, but it's just for the time, I guess for one of those movies. Yeah, I'm not. Marvel put the crackdown on anything getting out there. It's like that Spider-Man TV show. I tried to watch a couple episodes of that not too long ago, and it's hideous. It was so bad.
Oh, the original one, way back.
Yeah, it was so bad. I watched it every week back in the day. I think I was like 14 or 15 when that came out. I don't know, something like that.
I watched a little bit because I was doing reruns by that time. I was more of an Incredible Hulk fan.
Other versions. Here we go. No, it's more about versions in the comics. Oh, well, I don't care. I'm not looking it up anymore. It's not worth watching. It's out there for people who want to search and look. And actually, Captain America it's worth watching. Although, again, it's pretty cheap. Albert Pian. I don't know how to pronounce his name. He's a great B-movie director. He's done some good stuff.
Cool.
But yeah, other than that, Mr. Mercedes, I hadn't watched too much this week. I got some British cop show that I use for filler in between stuff till I find something. It's one of those shows I can put on and not have to pay attention to.
Oh yeah, just for noise, background.
Yeah,
noise.
it's not a very good show.
That's what I people are gonna hate me for this, but that's what I use the A-Team for.
Nothing wrong with that. I watched some kind of crazy YouTube show, some channel in England, like one of their just regular stations that was doing, and this was before that A-Team movie came out, reboot of it. But this guy was trying to get the original A-Team back together. And I think Papard had already died. So he was trying to get the rest of them, and he got everybody. And he did interview Mr. T, but Mr. T wouldn't show up for the night of the reunion. It was pretty weird stuff. Apparently, they didn't like each other, and but apparently George prepared. He didn't like any of them because he considered himself a Hollywood star, and they were just actors. And Mr. T wasn't even an actor; he was just a celebrity. So, pretty funny stuff how they didn't like each other. But yeah, that thing was highly rated. That was one of those shows that it didn't get canceled because of ratings. It got canceled because it was sexist and violent or whatever. And I never thought it was violent. Nobody ever died in it.
No, never. And it was kind of a joke too, because every episode there
Yeah.
was a car flip.
Well,
Every
they used to do it on
episode.
purpose just because they knew. And yeah, it was silliness.
Yeah, it was. Oh man, I'm watching that now, and I'm like, it's still fun. It's a fun show,
They knew
but
I'm going to that 8 o'clock time slot that they had to do that. And so
yeah, I know. But it was still, it's just funny when you notice it now. Like as a kid, you're like, whoa, and then when you watch it, as an adult, you're like, they're doing that car flip again. Like you just gotta wait for that car flip.
yeah. I just didn't like that sometimes the plots were almost identical. And I get even back then, I mean, I knew it was like, good Lord, you're doing the same.
Yeah,
But I love that movie, though. That reboot movie was really good. Didn't get enough
that's the one
credit.
with Liam Neeson and
Yeah.
Bradley Baker and all. Yeah.
Yeah, it was well cast, well done.
I think too many people were trying to compare it to the original. They wanted the hokey original.
Yeah, and this wasn't that. This was just a really good movie. It was.
Apparently, they didn't get Mr. T, but they did get Dirk Benedict and what's his name, Murdoch. Oh God, I should know his
Yeah,
name.
they just had little tiny parts.
Yeah, but it was kind of cool. It was.
Yeah. There was another team up movie right at the same time as that one. I can't remember the name, but wow, it was. Oh, it had the chick from Guardians of the Galaxy was in it.
Zoe Saldana.
Yeah, she was in it, and it was like her and three guys. It was just like an A-Team thing, exactly like A-Team. In fact, I think it might have been something based on an anime or a manga. I don't think they ever did an anime of it, but it was in a manga or something. I don't know, but it was really good. And but the A-Team kind of overshadowed that, so neither movie done made the kind of money they had hoped. I'd go look for it just to pull the name up, but then my movies are all out of order ever since I moved, and I haven't even wanted to even go. Try to go through all that crap and get it back organized.
Yeah, I tried to organize mine by genre, and I gave up. I just ran out of time. Because every time I think I got it, it's like, oh wait, there's one that kind of fits here, and now I'm out of room. Okay, and then I'll put it over here, and then I just gave up.
Yeah, but I'll finally get around to get everything back organized. I don't do alphabetical or anything like that. I just go by genre. I like a couple shelves got all my vampire movies.
Yep.
A couple shelves got all my zombie movies and so on. But eventually you get movies that are like, where the fuck does this go? It's like a zombie private detective movie. Fuck that. Vampire private detective / comedy. And it's, okay.
Yeah, when you have like something like that, like it's a comedy / horror movie, where the hell do you put it? In horror or comedy?
Yeah. Some of them it's easy. Like Reanimator, that goes as a horror movie.
Oh yeah.
But some of them
Anything Mel Brooks is like Young Frankenstein.
Comedy.
That's comedy. Yeah. So.
Yeah, somebody in my Twitter feed was talking about anxiety and having some issues and stuff, and I was like, "Hey, track down and find a copy of Mel Brooks's High Anxiety.
Yes.
It won't make you feel better. It won't cure you, but it'll make you laugh."
True enough. I really enjoy his movies. I have most of them.
I call the big four, the Blazing Saddles,
Yes.
Young Frankenstein, High Anxiety, and Spaceballs.
Yes, Spaceballs. Oh dear God, yes.
He had a few before that, and I think maybe one or two in between all that. But that was the biggies for me.
Yep.
That was best.
I agree.
I wasn't a huge fan of the producers. It was okay. I liked it, but I didn't love it.
Yeah, I wasn't too much of a fan of the silent movie either,
Yeah, I didn't like it at all, to be honest.
but I appreciated it for what it was.
Yeah. Rob Zombie supposedly is getting the Munsters. What do you think about that? A Munsters movie
I
directed by Rob Zombie.
I'm conflicted because he's great at horror, but Monsters is not really horror.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know what to think. I'm just happy that he's getting a budget again. He hasn't got a decent budget for a movie in probably 4 or 5 years. Uh, he did
Yeah,
this. What was that one? Something 21 or had the number in the title. I mean, that was a Z budget level movie. Had like a bunch of crazy clowns, kind of like from his good movies. They had a whole bunch of them, and it were
yeah. I remember. I know what you're talking about.
yeah. And then he made the follow up to his good movies, but on a zero budget, and that was it's not bad, but it doesn't. House of a Thousand Corpses and what was the second one? The better one I thought. It had the big Leonard Skinner ending with it
Is
on
that
the highway.
the Devil's?
Yeah, the Devil's Rejects.
Yeah, Devil's Rejects. That's
Yeah,
it.
and then he did a third one here not too long ago. But again, the third one's not on a it's not on a Hollywood budget like the other two were.
He also did the Halloween reboot.
Yeah, what killed him was the second Halloween movie. That's what got Hollywood pissed off at him because he contractually he basically had signed to do 2 movies. But I guess Carpenter criticized his first Halloween movie. It pissed him off, but part of the contract was that he could do whatever he wanted on the second one. That he had a director's final cut or whatever or something, and he made that piece of shit that he made. And I hate the fact that he did that because he should have made a good movie regardless. Who sets out to make something that's bad? And I don't know that he necessarily did that on purpose, but let's be honest, it was bad.
Yeah,
with the unicorn and all that shit in it, it was like, what the fuck? But
bad acid trip. We'll go with that.
yeah. Then he bounced back, and on a low budget, but not a Z budget, but on a lower budget, he made a slow burn kind of witches type movie. That's great. It's probably the best work that he ever done. And I can't think of the name of it either offhand, but it was amazing. But it was low budget. But it didn't make any money. It wasn't a big hit. So when he tried to make his next one, nobody would give him any money. He couldn't get financing. And he made that something, whatever, 21, whatever. Yeah, and then he did the third one of the, but I guess that third one done well enough that somebody's looking at him again as a viable filmmaker. He just dropped a new album too, which I'm like, damn, good on you, man.
Yeah, really.
Somebody doing a heavy metal album and also, still trying to do his horror movie. So, because I'm a huge zombie fan. Don't get me wrong. I might be critical of a couple of his movies, but he's made a couple that have been just amazing.
Yeah, I mean, nothing wrong with that. You can certainly criticize someone you like. I mean,
If he never does another good movie, he did The Devil's Rejects, which I consider a masterpiece. And I liked the other one, The House of a Thousand Corpses. Or
yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, I mean, that introduced the clown, which was just amazing, which got even better in the next movie. I mean, he kind of boiled the movie down and lessened the characters and gave it more coherent plot, and it was just an absolute masterpiece. And again, like I call it the Leonard Skinner, which has nothing to do with Leonard Skinner except for the song at the end, but it's amazing. I guess some people call that the Thelma and Louise ending. So whatever
Right.
This was even better with that song playing and then blazing guns.
Absolutely.
But hey, they lived. I come back for a third movie. Yeah, I hope he gets the Munsters. And I've read that it wasn't just the Munsters. They was talking him getting decent funding for just a straight up Dracula movie.
Now that It could be
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah. So I don't know which he's getting or if he's getting either one, because rumors come out and you don't until they greenlight it and somebody actually puts money in the bank and says, okay, this picture is now bonded or whatever. It's a 60 million. It's going to cost $60 million to make. Here we've put $20 million in escrow, or 60, the whole 60 million into escrow for this movie to be made. That's when you know it's truly greenlit and it's getting made one way or the other. Because if they don't get it made in a certain amount of time, they lose money and they get penalized. There's all kinds of weird things about it. Why Hollywood does shit like that, I'll never know. I guess when a movie's independent, they don't have to do that. But then if you don't have that money like that, you don't have the money, into a bank account for it, you can't. It's harder to get. You can't get union people, and you can't get the machinery of Hollywood behind it to make it that high quality movie. That's why some B movies are just horrible. Or some, I shouldn't call them B movies. I mean, even studios make B movies. Independent films, some are so bad that it's just ridiculous. But some filmmakers make a movie and it's like, damn, that looks like a good Hollywood movie. But even in those cases, they still have to come up with backers and stuff, and they have to say, hey, we're going to start filming on such and such date. We'll be done by this and such date. This one you can expect a return on your money. Because if you don't do that, nobody's going to give you money to make the movie. Right. Even going back like Raimi when he was making The Evil Dead, I guess they got like dentists and some mid-level professionals to invest, $1,000 here, $10,000 there, whatever it took to get the movie made. But you gotta have a plan, and it just seems that it's hard to get good independent stuff made these days compared to, I think, in the past. And the gap between B movies and low budget stuff and big into Hollywood just it keeps getting bigger. I mean, they spend
really
$100 million on a movie. I think I would rather have $10 million movies than one big $100 million movie. But
that's just it. $100 million isn't even considered big anymore.
Yeah, right. That Endgame was $300 million or something.
Yeah, it was some ridiculous number. I mean, of course, look at all the actors they had, but still.
Yeah, well, that's why Downey's gone. I mean, he didn't want. I don't think he wanted to leave, but he didn't have a choice. He demanded so much money over the years, and they were glad to pay him. But at some point, they realized, oh, we can't just keep putting him in these movies because it's just too much. So they just like, we're not going to give you any more Iron Man movies, but we're going to put you in our last 3 movies, the Civil War and the 2 Avengers movies, and we're done. I guess one of their little TV shows he's going to have a part in or something. But yeah, that's kind of minor stuff. I just don't think you're going to see him in their next phase of movies because he just demanded too much money. But you never know. I mean, the Thor guy's still under contract. That was smart of him. And then the chick plays Wanda. They've extended her contract to she's going to be throughout this whole next phase. In fact, she's actually the linchpin. My understanding now, she's kind of going to be that Iron Man character. It's going to carry the continuity through several movies.
Yeah, Scarlet Witch. Yeah.
Yeah, it was originally going to be the other chick that plays Captain Marvel, but yeah, she's lucky. Excuse me, to even still have a job. I guess again, you can't say whatever you want to say if you're a big star, and she might have pushed it a little too far or whatever. I don't know, but she's still Captain Marvel. They've not fired her or anything, but she's not the linchpin of this phase or the next.
Right.
Which is good. I don't think she was very good in that movie, to be honest. In fact, I liked her better in the 2 Avengers movies, the last 2, even her part was pretty small in those.
Ironically enough, she shot those before she shot the...
Exactly. But and I didn't hate her movie, by the way. having all that extra screen time for Samuel L. Jackson, I thought that was great.
Yeah, gave a lot of insight into his background too, which was nice. I just
Well,
don't know how I feel about the cat is the reason that his eye, got
yeah,
messed up, but that's all right.
yeah. Just watching Winter Soldier, they had that Robert Redford's character that hinted about his eye, and it made it seem like it was something. Then turned out just being the cat. That was pretty funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, some of their upcoming movies, I'm not fans of some of the characters that are getting movies these days in Marvel, but they seem to know what they're doing. At least, I can't. It's hard to say some guy that made how many movies in 10 years and made how much money. More than that, I loved them and they were really great. So it's like, they don't want to make another Iron Man movie because they don't want to pay Robert Downey Jr. X amount of money, but you want to make some other minor Marvel character a movie. Okay, I'll give
Well,
them a chance.
what's interesting is that Iron Man was always kind of the second tier.
Yeah, but he wasn't. They've got some third raters that are getting movies now. I'm sorry, they just are.
No. Well,
The
I agree with you, but this is what I was going with that. But because of Downey's, Robert Downey Jr.'s incredible portrayal of Tony Stark, he became an A tier character.
yeah.
And it's like I feel like maybe they can. I mean,
Well,
I don't know who, but they can strike gold again.
Tom Cruise was in the running for that, but because that first Iron Man movie, they didn't have a big studio behind it. That truly was Marvel making that movie. Like Disney makes the Marvel movies now. Marvel still makes them, of course, but they have Disney's money behind them. But that first movie, that was huge. If that thing flops, there's no more. Marvel Pictures goes under. Yeah. I mean,
That's crazy. That started the whole thing.
Yeah, man, they sold off all their good characters. So they didn't have no choice but to go to a B level.
Oh, I know.
And we say B level, but my God, he was an original Avenger.
Mm-hmm.
And his comic had ran forever. I mean, he was pretty big.
No, he was.
But yeah, he was still definitely under like Spider-Man or Fantastic Four or, Captain America or whatever. But yeah, that was, but Tom Cruise was going to play that. But apparently, yeah, he was kind of shied away from it. I don't know, his agency or whatever, his people was like, no, that's going to be small time. Don't do that.
Whoops.
Yeah. And even with Downey was like, I might be too old for this. And they actually like, yeah, but by the time you are too old, we're going to be doing all this shit digitally. You won't have to do anything. This first movie, you're going to have to get in shape and you got to do this, that, and a lot of wire work. And they promised him no. And the other ones, don't worry. And they were right. They were able to do all that shit digitally. And it didn't matter. It was great. But I'm just thinking some of the Eternals, please. What the fuck? You got lucky with Guardians of the Galaxy because of amazing casting.
Oh, yeah.
You had that right amount of humor, and you had the right showrunner behind it, or director. I shouldn't say showrunner, that's TV. But
yeah, director, yeah.
But I just don't think the Eternals, I look at that cast, and I'm like, I don't know. That might be their first. Now, it's not going to be a flop because it's Marvel. But that don't mean it's going to be a good movie. I mean, I love Thor to death, but The Dark World's not a very good movie. It's just not.
Yeah, but it kind of it corrected itself with Ragnarok.
Yeah. And the first Thor movie was good. It wasn't great. Yeah. It was good. But the second Thor movie was not good at all. And it's okay. They went ahead and they did a third one anyway. And now they're doing a fourth one, so.
We'll see. I really liked the third one. I thought that was just incredibly fun.
Yeah, I didn't like where in the Avengers where they made him fat. I thought that was tasteless, but whatever. I know it's funny and all that, but it wasn't. I didn't like it. I just thought Thor would never get fat and be
to
upset.
Me, it wasn't so much the funniness behind it. I mean, was that he just was so broken by not stopping.
Yeah, I know. I
And
understood the logic behind it, and I got it. I did get it. I
yeah,
just
but I know what you mean.
didn't like it.
The way it was handled was a little bit odd. Yeah. Although it did show his comedic talents a bit.
Oh yeah,
Um,
he's a funny guy. And
so
he did that Black Hat movie. Actually,
Black Men in Black. Yeah.
no, I'm not talking about that one. That one was, oh yeah, that one was borderline bad, but it was still watchable. But no, he did a thing called Black Hat where he plays like a spy
Oh
hacker.
yeah, I forgot about
That
that
was
one.
really good. That was really. But his
Yeah.
only hit stuff's been with the Marvel stuff.
Oh
So
yeah.
and his but
He
yeah,
he almost quit the role too, which is interesting because it was such a demanding role for
yeah.
him. And I think it was Robert Downey Jr. actually is the one that convinced him to come back, if I read correctly. Take that with a grain of salt because that's my memory might be a little fuzzy on that one, but I know that I
Well,
know that
the
Robert
third
Downey Jr.
Spider-Man movie, which I'm looking forward to coming up, and but some of those other ones, like I said on that slate, well, Doctor Strange 2, I think will be amazing. I always
Yeah, I
love
love
Doctor
the first one.
Strange, and I'm so happy that they're like, yeah, we're gonna let this character have a big major movie, and we're gonna let him be a big part of the Avengers. That was great.
Yeah.
I mean, going back to Z level budget or TV movies, there's been one Doctor Strange TV movie, and then there was a fake Doctor Strange movie, Doctor Mordred, that had the guy from Reanimator in it. That was just great, even though it was low budget and B movie stuff. But I always wanted, Doctor Strange to get a big budget movie, and they thought his origin story movie. I loved it. It was great, but it had some parts in it that probably could have been tightened up or whatever. But
Well, yeah, but you know what though? It was really amazing. It was very visually arresting. There was nothing quite like it. And also too, I love the ending, the way it did everything in reverse. It was just
yeah,
so well done and so clever. Made sense too for the context of the story and the time the Infinity Stone, the Time Stone.
yeah.
It just made sense and it was just great. So yeah, I'm hoping the sequel, pushes those boundaries again. We'll see. I mean,
Oh, I'm sure it's going to, because it's going to blow open the whole multiverse.
yeah, and I'm interested to see what they do with the next Spider-Man because that sounds interesting.
Yeah, yeah. It's just going to have all the Spider-Man in it.
Yeah, I was like, ooh.
Three of them, and villains from the other old movies. I think they'll do a great job of it.
So
And it's almost like they needed to bring back Jamie Foxx's Electro because it was horrible in that movie. That was the worst villain, and just you know
he
killed
got
that movie.
shortchanged. Yeah, he got shortchanged with that.
Yeah,
It wasn't him. It was just how the character was written.
yeah. It was written poorly, and his makeup and all everything was just done bad.
Yeah,
And so now he gets another chance, another crack at it, and turns out bad. Then we'll know it was him. But
I
hopefully
don't
they'll
think.
let some of his humor
I
shine
bet
through.
you. Yeah, I bet you it'll be much better, especially with Disney behind it now. Because I don't think the first one it was under Sony Pictures. It didn't have any connection, well, at the time, to the greater
Yeah,
Marvel universe. So we'll see. I mean, we'll see.
and they were, instead of worrying about that one movie, they were almost more worried about setting up the next Spider-Man movie and the whole Sinister Six thing. And
Yeah,
yeah, it just didn't work out well for them. And then that particular actor pissed off the head of Sony. They were down in like Brazil or someplace, and he didn't show up at a big gala event that night. And the head of Sony was like, "Fuck this guy. You know what? We'll reboot again. Fuck him." And then all that stuff broke where Sony got hacked, and which is all kind of worked perfectly because they already fired that guy, told the director to go get some other work elsewhere, and then all that news story broke, and they were forced to go crawl into Marvel. Hey, make a good movie for us, and we'll split the money. It was pretty cool the way it all worked out. So,
yeah. It makes you wonder though.
oh, if he makes that gala event that night, they do another Spider-Man movie with that director and set up the whole Sinister Six thing. And we never get the current Spider-Man stuff with Marvel making the movies that we have now. Something that simple changed history forever
Yeah,
as far as films. It's crazy.
it is, and that's a lot. Really, most of what life is that just those random events that change
Yeah.
everything. But in this case, for the better, I think.
Yeah. Although I don't know because I'm not. It still pisses me off that Sony got Spider-Man game exclusive because of all this too. Because after like hundreds of negotiation sessions, and then a straight like my understanding was like 48 hours straight. Marvel and Disney, not Marvel and Disney, Marvel and Sony or Disney and Sony, whatever you want to look at it. We're negotiating this shit with various teams coming in and negotiating to get it done. And at one point, I mean, they had agreed upon everything, and Sony got to give them credit, but oh yeah, and we get exclusive rights to the game. Sign, and that's how. And they Marvel didn't do shit that Sony was going to get exclusive rights to the game. I don't think they were even thinking of all this negotiation had just been about the movie, and Sony throwed that in as the last second. It gets added like the bottom of the contract. Yeah, and Sony gets exclusive rights to the Spider-Man game. Holy fuck! I guess you got to say they're genius for it because it's the yeah it was well no because the PS4 is already dominating even by the time Spider-Man come out they'd already won the generation. But
Yeah,
they sold 20 million copies, which, truth be told, they only sold 10 million, maybe 12. The other 8 or 10 million came free with a console, but that counts.
it does. Yeah,
Nintendo always counted that on the Wii with the
Wii
Wii
Sports.
Sports or
Yeah,
whatever. They always, biggest selling game of. I'm like, no, it's not. You lying bitches. It was a pack-in game. But I get it, because they do jack up the price of your box because they got that game in it. So,
right.
you
So they get their money. Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, that was genius on Sony's part, to get that thrown in. And that was another thing. That was timing. Activision's contract had been up, and they hadn't even went in negotiations with Marvel to do another game, which they would have. They'd made 3 or 4 or 5 Spider-Man games in a row or whatever. And some of them pretty bad, some of them pretty good across multiple consoles. Going all the way back to Acclaim made some, but the Activision one started around PS2 time frame.
I'll be honest. The only other Spider-Mans I liked beyond, what's the Sony ones, was the original Sega CD Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, I love that one.
That's a great one.
Yeah, it was.
Had the cartoon and everything, with the whole story.
I liked a couple on the Super Nintendo too, the ones that Acclaim did.
Okay, yeah, okay. Those were I see. Yeah, that's true. I don't know why I don't really consider those, but
Carnage,
they are. Yeah,
Carnage, the red.
I have that, and it is really good. Yeah, and also I like the one with the Spider-Man and the X-Men crossover that they did. So okay, yeah, those two. I like those two. But the Activision ones never clicked with me.
No, I didn't care for them that much either. Although they were the first ones to get the swinging right and all that.
Right.
And so they were good parts to them, but they never hit the nail quite on the head as this last game did. They had just come off that Xbox game. Oh crap! Nobody bought it, but it was like the first game that ever made exclusively for Xbox, and it didn't sell that well. So they went back to Sony. Sony bought them to make, after they, at some point, while they were making Spider-Man, they realized, oh shit, we got to buy these guys. Fuck.
Oh, Insomniac, yeah,
Insomniac. But
and the game that I should know this because the original Xbox one I have is the white one, which was the Sunset Overdrive bundle.
Yeah, so basically they took
That's a good game
from that game and somehow turned it into Spider-Man and even though I don't always see the two anywhere near similar, but I kind of get it. In Sunset Overdrive, you kind of slid on rails.
It's similar in the sense that it's open world, but they're not the same game
Yeah,
at all.
no,
I like Sunset Overdrive. It's
yeah, I
it's a
think it's
shame.
actually better than Spider-Man, but only because of originality. I just thought
Yeah,
Batman or Spider-Man just looking for backpacks, I thought was weak for a lot of the. They could have done something better than that. I mean, I know it had plot and other things you were doing, but one of the things you were doing was hunting backpacks, and I'm like, really? What the fuck have we ever looked for backpacks in any Spider-Man thing? But I guess they were trying to fill time to stretch out the hours of the game or whatever.
yeah, it was okay though because it was they were more Easter egg based, you
Yeah,
know. And I mean, you didn't have to. Although, good somebody made a point, and maybe we did speak about this. I don't quite remember, but it's like okay, so in the game, the webs eventually dissipate. They do. They just go away. So how the hell do these webs, are permanent on these backpacks all over the city that have been there for possibly years?
yeah,
What? I don't know. I don't know. But you know what? It's a collectathon. I just go with it.
yeah.
So
I'm not knocking the game. I thought it was a great game. It was not game of the year that year, but it was a great game. It was top two, three, and I would even put it top five for the generation. You know, easily top five. But yeah,
yeah. No, I loved it. I actually loved the game so much because when I got the Xbox One bundle, I got the digital version because they didn't include But I liked it so much, I went out and bought the physical version just to have the physical because they released the physical and it was only $10. I was like, yeah, all right. And I even got the little cup thing, the cup holder thing that they were giving away with it, the Kohler cup. Yeah, I got that too. Um, I'm embarrassed to say I have way too much game swag. Way too much. I should probably sell some of it, but
yeah. I don't have nearly as much as I used to. I used to have a lot of gaming swag. Now I got a lot of gaming systems old. I don't have so much swag anymore. I got a few movie things. I've actually got a silver ball that looks like from Phantasm, but I keep meaning I want to drill a hole in it and put like a steel arrowhead in the front coming out of it to make it look even cooler. But never done it. But I've got the spear, whatever the ball.
yeah, that's cool.
I've got a replica of a James Bond. What is that gun? He's most famous for carrying. I can't remember the number of it, but anyway, it's yeah, shoots like little pellets. The one I got is not real or anything, air gun, but it's wow, that kills me. I can't think of the James Bond gun. I am getting too old, man. I've looked way too much stuff on the internet. I bet I type James Bond gun. I know people are like, ugh, what the fuck? This guy's looking shit up on Google. Here we go. Walter's PPK. Jesus Christ. I have a replica of it, little pellet gun that I bought in Korea many, many years ago. Yeah, we would go there on temporary duty trips in the little city outside of the base. Anyway, full of bars and shopping stores and stuff like that. But we would go and buy these pellet guns. And then we would play war games in and around. Yeah, it was insane, but that was a lot of fun. And you talk about hurting; those fucking pellet guns hurt.
Yeah, they do. Yeah,
But we wasn't
I've,
fucking around. If you were out and about, you were an open target. So yeah, yeah, we did a lot of stupid shit like that back in the day. Hey, that's where I got most of my modded consoles I bought over there. I bought an OG Xbox modded that. Oh, that thing was so sweet. My oldest son eventually sold or got rid of. I don't know what the fuck he done with it. I'm still mad about it. And I've got a couple more since then. In fact, I have like three of them. You know, they're soft modded. One's even got a massive hard drive in it. And So it's got all the games on it. But for some reason, I don't know. I just like that original one I had better. Didn't have a very big hard drive on it though, but it was. When I bought it, it already had 50 games installed, and then I could have more put in it if I needed. I don't know how much space it still had left, but it was pretty cool. What was really cool about it is it had a switch on the side, so that you shut it off, then you could hook to the internet, and Microsoft had no way of knowing. You were nice and legal, and then if you wasn't playing an online game, then you could click it back and play, whatever copied burned game. That was pretty cool. And then now you can't do that shit because everything's got to be online. And
Yeah, I know.
yeah,
I was checking.
yeah. But on that OG one, yeah, that was pretty awesome. I think I had a modded PS. I bought a couple modded PS1s over there. I don't think I ever bought a PS2 modded over there. And yeah,
Those original systems were a lot easier to mod. They were than the newer ones because of course, well, you said it
well, these
yourself.
all
It's
had
almost
wired
online.
mods. The ones I bought over there had to be wired. So now everything's soft modded. And they work great, so it's not a problem. Yeah. Like I said, my favorite system I've got right now is a Wii. It's only soft modded, but it's got every a separate hard drive hooked to it. It's got every GameCube game on it and every Wii game on it. And it's so weird. Inside the door of the Wii, you can down the bottom, it's actually got a place to put an SD card. And so all of those Wii games that you could buy, what they call those that you purchased, they were never released on disc. Most of them anyway. I think a couple might have got releases at some point, but they were, games you bought from the Wii store or whatever. But all of those, the guy put on that SD card, so it's pretty cool. But it's weird. I can only have 5 of them at a time, and then there's like 200 games or something on there. I don't know how many, but it's a lot. But any 5 is what I can do at a time, and then I got to delete those, and I can re-bring them back up. They don't go away or anything.
Right, I know what you mean.
But yeah, it's pretty cool. It's a nifty little system I got, and I have it hooked to a tube television, a nice flat Trinitron, not too big. I think it's a 26-inch. But yeah, it's beautiful. Play those kind of games. Right now, for whatever reason, my Xbox is not even hooked up. They're all in there in my bedroom. I was going to hook them to a 1080p plasma that I have, 60-inch that I have in my bedroom that I haven't been using. It was a bad plasma, by the way. It wasn't a good Panasonic or wow, who did the good plasmas before Panasonic did them? I can't even remember the company, but this ain't one of them. This was a garbage one, a cheap one that I bought, and like, oh well. Got a little burn in on across the bottom of the screen from fucking ESPN's.
Oh, the ticker, yeah.
Bastards. But that's all right. Anyway, I was gonna hook my Xboxes up to that one, but because I got my 360 and a PS3 both hooked to an old 720p TV, which is perfect. That's all they were anyway, basically. And those 2 consoles look great on that television. But I thought, even though the Xbox really wasn't for high def, it can be hooked to a tube TV. And before I had a bigger tube TV that I had that Xbox hooked to. I had a 36-inch one before I moved here, and I got rid of the 2 big ones. I had a 36 Sony and a 32 Philips. Oh, and that Philips was magnificent. I hated having to give it up, but it was like, I just knew I'm of that age. Yeah, I had my son around, and he could help move, and we paid some guys that also helped move. But yeah, I don't want to have to be paying somebody every time I got to move, and I can't guarantee that my kids will be around. So I just had too many of them, so I got rid of a couple. But I kept 2. I kept a 26-inch Trinitron, and I think the other one might be 26 too, although it looks a little bit smaller. But I think it looks smaller because it's not flat. It's still got a little bit of bow in the tube, which is fine. Even that Phillips wasn't completely flat. It had a little bit of bow in the tube, but man, it just was beautiful. I wished I didn't have to. I hadn't got rid of that one. But I actually need. I'm on the hunt. By the way, if you come across somebody that's got one of those anywhere from 12-inch to 26-inch studio television monitors, you know what I'm talking about? They don't even really have sides on them. They're in like a metal frame box.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to get them. It used to, you just show up at a TV station, they'd give them to you when they first switched over to high def. But I wasn't smart enough to hunt any down, and now, yeah, it's tough to get them. There's a couple of certain models that are like the ones that are most sought after, and they go for stupid prices. Yeah, we've talked about that before. People that collect stuff like that, and then they jack it up, and if you have to be lucky to find somebody local that has it. You can't ship them to TVs; they're too damn big and too heavy. It costs you a fortune.
Oh, I know. It's ridiculous.
But so I'm happy with the two I kept, and one of them's on a cart that's on wheels, so it's pretty easy to move around. Not that big a deal. But I've still got more old consoles than, two TVs wasn't actually quite enough for them. So that's why I think them Xboxes aren't even hooked up to anything right now. I'll eventually get them back hooked up to something. Like I said, I've got the plasma in my bedroom. The spare bedroom, I got the DLP television. And the one in my bedroom, I think it's 50-inch. The one in the spare bedroom's a 60-inch. It's a 720p DLP. And then I got a 4K set in my little gaming hub. Then I got a big 70-inch 1080p set in the living room, which sometime next year, once I get a good look at the new models that'll be coming out, that'll actually go on sale in mid to late 21, then I'll make up my mind whether I'll go buy one of the existing 2020s that are out there, those 85-inch models.
Yeah.
Yeah, the price has been, you buy last year's model, you get a good deal. But I know it's always, is there really an improvement? Some years you do get real jumps, and other years it's fake improvements that you could have bought the last year's model and got basically the same fucking TV. So, but I think I'm going to jump up to 85-inch. But I don't know if I'm going to go, if I go OLED, I don't know what size I'll get, because OLED, the prices go stupid high. But it is the best. So it's like, but I keep reading that there's like not one, but a couple of different systems that's going to be better than OLED that's coming. But I'm 58. I don't want to wait. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm of that school. I like big. And you're already talking, it's already a 4K set, so it's going to be beautiful regardless. It may not be as great as an OLED, but whatever. I mean, I don't own an OLED now, so it's not like I'm missing out on anything. Although I will be getting that OLED switch. Holy fuck. That's what we need to talk about. I'm a happy camper because I've been talking about getting my own switch instead of just borrowing my son's, because I have my own dock, but I don't have my own switch. I just go grab his and throw it in.
Right.
But yeah, I hope that's true. They're going, it's just a slither bigger for the handheld, which I don't care. I'm never playing that fucker handheld. So I don't even need the OLED screen. But I just think that's cool, putting an OLED screen on it. And if it's truly 4K when docked, perfect. Even if it's just upscaled 4K, that's awesome. And they'll get my money,
Oh, yeah. Oh, I wanted to mention this real quick. Hate to bring this up, not with you, but I mean in general. I mentioned this on my Twitter, but I noted that I got one of those Saturn wireless controllers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's the one that's officially, endorsed by Sega, by Retrobit. I do not recommend it, and here's why.
I'm glad you're telling me.
Yep. If you try to update the Saturn
The firmware.
the firmware on the receiver, it bricks it.
Wow. Okay, good to know.
And it did it twice.
I was planning on getting it and doing that because I've got multiple systems I wanted to use it on.
Yeah, it's a good. The controller itself, when it works, is fine. Like I tried it before I tried to update the firmware, and they said the firmware helps with the any lag. Although I didn't notice any, but I figured, okay, cool, because I all the 8-bit dos, I have no problem. They have this great, like they have this one program that auto detects the controller and just updates the firmware for you now. That's like awesome. Retrobit does not do that. Retrobit, you have to go through this whole rigmarole to download it, which is fine.
Yeah, I don't
But
have the retro bit. I've got two 8-bit dos for the turbo graphics, so they look like old
yeah,
16 controllers.
those are great. Those are awesome. The M30 is the Saturn-like controller that Retrobit does, but they don't have a Saturn receiver yet. So I got the official one, and like I said, I tried to update it. As soon as I put it in the computer, it bricked it. I didn't even get a chance to update the firmware. It just bricked, and it won't turn on again. So then I figured, okay, so I returned it to Amazon. I got a replacement, and I immediately tried to update the firmware, and the same exact thing happened. And no one was talking about it. So I'm like, okay, this is not cool. Now, the whole reason I got it was to work on the Saturn because they're the only ones that have the official Saturn, the receiver for
Yeah,
this.
I've been meaning to buy one just for my Saturn because
And
I've
you
got
can,
multiple original Saturn controllers, but controllers wear out. And
oh yeah. Now, honestly, if you don't update the firmware, you're fine. It works great. But I emailed Retrobit and I'm still waiting for a response. And honestly, if I don't have one from them by the middle of next week, this one's going back to Amazon for a refund because I'm done. I can't support that. I mean, even though it's not really minor, but it's minor. And I think the reason most people aren't realizing it because they're not using it for the Saturn, they're using it for the Switch, which it's natively compatible with. It also comes with a um,
you can use
a
it with the
USB.
Genesis too, with an old Genesis too, can't you? I
You
think that's what
can, but
I heard.
you can, but you have to buy the Retrobit adapter for it.
Huh.
Not the 8-bit DOE adapter. I have the 8-bit DOE adapter for the Genesis and the 8-bit DOE M30, Saturn/Genesis controller. Beautiful. Love them. Awesome. Works perfectly. But this one, when it does work, works great. But sorry, if the receiver's broken, I can't support it.
Yeah, retro bits a little hit or miss on some of their
They
stuff.
are.
Anyway,
Some of
so
their stuff is good, but
yeah,
8-bit DOE has always been solid for me. I mean,
yeah. I bought two of those for my Turbo Graphics because that's
oh,
my favorite of all those retro minis or whatever.
yeah,
I absolutely love that one. I mean, because all those shooters. Oh my god.
I also did finally power up that controller. Remember you saying you were going to get that controller that looks like the NES Advantage for the Switch? It works for everything, not just the Switch.
Yeah.
It's awesome. I tried it on my PC. I played some Streets of Rage with it. It's amazing.
Nice.
So that has my endorsement. I didn't change any parts. I just
I
used
don't have
whatever
any of
stock
my
was in there.
minis hooked up right now. I need to get off my butt. I sit around all the time doing nothing, and then I get mad when nothing's done. But I got no excuse on why I hadn't done it. In fact, I'm sitting in front of them. They're all sitting on shelves and underneath my television, but they're not actually hooked up anymore. There's no reason they shouldn't be. I've got like not one but two S not S my God
HDMI.
HDMI
Yeah.
switchers, uh, so I can have them multiple ones hooked up. But I just hadn't yet. So every once in a while, what I've been doing is I'll just get one out and hook it up, and then just I have it. I didn't even set it on the TV. I have it off to the side. In fact, I have a Kenwood receiver sitting in the floor over to the right side of it, and I've been just setting whichever one I play on top of it. But then I'll put it back and drag another one out. I got those PlayStation ones, and then I ordered the what they call it, True Blue. We're still in all these PlayStation game sticks, and I got them from Amazon. It's fucking amazing. But so I didn't actually have to, put any of the games. They just did it for you. I can't believe they got a way of selling those on Amazon. Now you may still be able to buy them. Amazon probably still has stock if you got the PlayStation Mini.
Yeah. Oh, I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, because the people that made those, the main guy's in jail right now, waiting trial. Sony hunted his ass down. They finally got him. Uh, he was doing a bunch of other corrupt shit too, so it wasn't like it was just this. But anyway, yeah, one guy got away. I don't know, and the other one they did capture or whatever. But they were still on Amazon, so I got two of them. I thought about getting a couple more. There's like 5 total you can get, and each one has about 70 or 80 games on them. Yeah, it's kind of awesome to order something like that from Amazon and not be having to order the shit from China or from someplace you don't know if you're really going to get, what you're paying for. But yeah, pretty cool stuff. But again, out of all those minis, I love that Turbo Graphics one. It just, I don't know. Well, the Super Nintendo one too. But I think I like the Turbo Graphics one better because I'd played so much of the Super Nintendo over the years and not nearly as much on the PC Engine.
Oh yeah, I love the fact that it included a lot of the Japanese games.
Yeah.
I so wish though that they translated. They didn't, but they translated Snatcher. I mean, I have the Sega CD version,
Yeah,
but
me too.
it's just cool to play the original. That was the first original version of it.
Yeah.
So
Well, it was on the MSX computer or something
yeah,
before. Yeah. And then
yeah,
but the
but they
only English version is the Saturn.
yeah. I mean Sega CD. Yeah.
Yeah, excuse me. Well, I actually have a version of it on the Saturn, but
So do
not in
I.
English. Not in English.
Yeah, no, same here. I have the Japanese version because I really wanted to play it.
And I
Um,
used to have a disc bootleg that I don't know how they did it, but somehow they took the audio from the Sega CD one and somehow had it with and it worked for a couple of years, and then it just stopped working. So since it was a bootleg thing, anyway, it's nothing I can do about it. But yeah, I actually have the one for the Sega CD. I hadn't played that in ages. I want to get, if you come across one or hear about it, it's got to be very cheap, which is doubtful I'll get it. But I need the original bottom loader Sega CD.
oh yes, yes,
I've
yes.
got a couple of the top loading one or the side that hooks to the side, but I don't have the bottom one. I realized that the other day. I was looking at all my Genesis and I was like, oh shit, I've only got the Genesis 2 with a Sega CD that set beside each other. And I've got the Model 1 Genesis, a couple of them, but I just don't have a Sega CD that goes with those.
Yeah, I have the Model 1, but I have the Sega CD Model 2. So
Yeah, that's what I got, the Model
yeah,
2.
so it's like
Model
super
2s,
long.
I just had some issues breaking over the years, so there's not nearly as many of them out there. And I don't know how many they originally produced. I know that they pretty quickly went to the Model 2 to get the price down because it was way overpriced when it came out.
Yeah, it's like 300, I think.
And I bought that pretty original. Like I said, I didn't buy the Model 1. Originally, I had the Model 2 CD, but that was pretty quick into its life cycle. And I was living in Panama then. And so this would have been somewhere between 90 and 94. I don't know which year. Probably, I don't even know. I just know I bought it. I sucked it up and paid whatever it was. Because that was the thing, man. Games on CD. That was a lot of fun. And I like those Sega CD games. I didn't care much for a lot of the full motion video crap, but that was a pretty decent little library on the Sega CD. It never got the credit it deserved.
Oh, I agree. Oh, I got a ton of games for it. I love it. I think it's just.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not the Saturn. The Saturn was way better in my opinion overall, but that makes sense. I mean, that's fine.
Oh, that Satinator thing I got. I've only come across one game. I don't even remember which one it was. I should have wrote it down, but only one game out of so far a couple hundred I've tested that didn't play right. That was glitchy and fucked up. That's a little cool device. but you can't. They're sold out. You got to get on a waiting list to get. But they're doing another batch. They'll be available again in a month or two, or whenever. I don't know, but
Right.
it's doesn't fuck up your disk drive. You just pop it in the back where that video card went, and
Yeah.
sweet.
Yeah,
And
I
then
agree.
download all the games on the SD card.
That's cool. I like that. I just like I said, I just love that design. I think I said this last time we spoke, but
Yeah.
it just works.
And I don't worry too much about those lasers in the Saturns dying. They were built like tanks, and I've actually got a couple of spare lasers just in case mine ever do go out. But who knows if they'll even work? They're just sitting on a shelf in my bedroom. In fact, actually, they're sitting on top of a dresser in my bedroom. There's like one PlayStation 1 laser, two Saturn lasers, and one the Neo Geo CD laser.
Ah, yes, that.
Yeah, so, but the Neo Geo, it was weird. It just needed adjusting. So I bought the laser to replace it, but I was having problem trying to replace it. And at one point, I guess I moved the original one, and it started working. So I just said, "Fuck it, I'm leaving it. I'm not changing it out." So, but I think it's already stopped working again. So I probably need to take that out and put the new one in. But I have so many ways of playing Neo Geo stuff now that it's like, no, I'm not going to change that laser out. Maybe someday, but not right now. It's not hard or anything, but it's still. And I've got
Yeah.
a couple of PlayStation 2s with bad lasers in them, and I'm mad as hell about that. I decided I didn't want to be the one changing it out. I'm holding off, and hopefully somebody will have a reasonably priced solution where all the games for the PS2 or a big chunk of them are on a hard drive that I can use. Until then, I'm like, yeah, why do I want to fix the laser in it when I'm going to be playing off a hard drive anyway? So yeah, there's that. And you use the old Mick Boot thing through the uh, memory card slot,
Right.
and then it'll let you run the not pirated, but just whatever from a hard drive. I've got all the stuff for it. I just don't have all the games, and I'm not downloading games from the internet to put on that. I'm like, no, I'll wait. I'll find somebody on eBay that's selling one. But it's getting a little tougher for companies or pirates or whatever you want to call them to sell that stuff on the internet. So when I come across the right stuff at the right price, I usually don't hesitate. I just get it. I think why I love all these minis so much because it makes it so much simpler. I mean, they're all so easy to put games on. Although I haven't yet for the TurboGrafx one / PC Engine, whatever you want to call it. I have the TurboGrafx model, the US one for my Mini. Although I have a real PC Engine. I don't actually have a real TurboGrafx. I have the Mini, they just come out, but I don't have a real TurboGrafx 16. But I
I
have a real
was
PC Engine, so that's all that matters.
Yeah, that's cool. I actually got the TurboGrafx after Christmas, the day after Christmas. Somebody traded it in a store, and the store's like, "Yeah, we got this in," and I'm like, "Oh!" And I literally like went to save them, right after Christmas, that morning after Christmas, and I was able to pick it up. Two controllers, the system, everything, and then I went on eBay and I got a cheap HDMI converter for it, and it looks great. It plays great. It's just awesome. And I finally got to play Legendary Axe 1 and 2 because for the longest time I wanted those games, and they're not available on anything. So,
Yeah.
well, I got the
But
originals.
I love that PC Engine TurboGrafx for all those shooters they
Oh
have.
yeah, I mean, and now I'm able to play those. I mean, I got a couple. It's hard to. These games are expensive though, at least. But like, I do think that they do have a TurboGrafx card that you can load up on
Yeah,
an
that's
SD.
what I have. I've
Yeah.
got every game that came out for the system, both Japanese and the US versions. I don't mind. They're dead systems, so yeah, I got the pirated card with everything on it. In fact, I got two of them. One doesn't work with my PC Engine though, because I got the RX or whatever, and apparently it don't fit. So I've got to get a straight up PC Engine or a TurboGrafx 16 it'll work with, I was told. But it won't work with my PC Engine Duo RX. I got to get just a regular PC Engine. Apparently, the little piece of plastic, it's not something you can carve out to make it fit. It just don't fit. So, no well. But I don't need it. I've got one that fits and works, and I can play all the games. I did order the second one is actually just to have a backup one. And then the backup one wouldn't fit. And I'm like, what the fuck? Then I started researching it, and in the fine print where I bought it, said, yeah, it works with all PC Engine models except for the one that I owned. I'm like, no shit. How did I miss that when I bought it? It didn't, you buying stuff from AliExpress. It's not everything's actually in the fine print.
Right.
I didn't want to send it back. They would have gave me my money back. They're actually really good about that. They'll credit you your account if you're not happy. But I'm like, no, you know what? Fuck it. I'll just get a PC Engine for it because I've always wanted just a tiny little PC Engine. So I'm like, hell yeah, maybe I'll get the whole suitcase thing and a CD for it and all that. That's pretty cool. So it's kind of a project on the back burner to put all that together. But again, then they did the minis, and it's like, damn. And I haven't even looked. I bet you that mini's hacked. I know because
Definitely. They definitely are.
it uses the same system as the NES and the Super Nintendo one. So it's got to be that hatchy, whatever.
Yeah, no, it's been hacked. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I just hadn't done mine. I need to do it. I did it to my NES one, and I have the Famicom one. I have it, but I don't use it because the controllers are wired, just like an original Famicom. So, the original Japanese Famicom has wired controllers.
Right.
When I say wired, I mean hardwired. You can't remove them.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I know.
There is a video showing you how to do it for this mini. And I'm like, no, man, they were trying to be authentic. And I appreciated that. I'm not going to do that. Just does not. I have it. I collect it. It's cool. And I've got an NES mini that I went ahead and hacked and I didn't put the entire library on it. I think I have about 500 games on it, something like that, give or take. I can't remember because I dumped the whole amount that I had that I was using on my EverDrive, that SD card, and it didn't work. And I had to pull a bunch of stuff off. So I pulled off all the stuff that was straight Japanese games that were never going to be playable. You know what I'm saying? They were just straight up Japanese with a ton of text. And then I reloaded them all and they all worked. I don't know if it was too big or I'd done something wrong originally. I can't remember. And then I put the entire Super Nintendo original. I had just the entire US library. But then I went through and got off a bunch of games. I'm like, I'm never playing that. It sucks. Never playing that. Then I put a bunch of Japanese games on there that you don't have to understand Japanese to play. So I got a real good lineup on my Super Nintendo Mini. It's pretty awesome. But it was a lot of work. And I'm gotten lazy in my old age. And that's why when I've got the TurboGrafx ones, I haven't even tried to hack it yet. It's like, there's 40 games or something already on it. I'm like, I'm kind of good for now. And weirdly enough, because I've got, like I said, I got the NES one and then the Famicom one, but I only have the Japanese version of the this Super Nintendo, Super Famicom, whatever. I have that. They're identical. It doesn't matter what region they came from. So I need to get the US one. I'd like to get it too. And then I got the one Sega one. I can't remember how much of the Sega library I put on that one, but yeah, that's been an on again, off again one where I've like wiped it and re-put games and then wiped it and then this and that. But with the PlayStation 1, I never do anything. I ordered those True Blue sticks And wow, it goes into the controller port, and then the stick comes with a port adapter that gives you like 4 more ports to put other stuff in.
Oh, nice.
Well, yeah, so I've got 3 or 4 of those extra port things now because it comes with every one you order. Because you're giving up a controller port when you're using this thing.
Right, right. But still, that's cool that you can
Yeah,
actually.
yeah, you can use extra controllers for. You can go all the way up to 4-player games with them, and you can plug in more of the True Blue things to get even more games. I don't know why they just put the entire library on one. Why somebody didn't do that. And maybe there's a size limitation or something that I didn't know about or understand. Because I know, like with the Super Nintendo, you can get the entire U.S. library on it, but you can't get the entire Japanese Super Famicom and Super Nintendo library on it. Right there. But I think you can get with the NES one. I think you can actually get both the entire libraries. But yeah, even with the menus, they just did a recent uh, update to that improved the menus even more for the games you download. And I don't know. I still have gotten problems with my the big arcade stick that looks like a Neo Geo controller. Uh, that thing is hackable to get the entire, not just Neo Geo games, but you can put all the Capcom CPS 1, 2, and 3 games on it.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that. Yeah.
Yeah, and not. I've actually talked to the guy that does the videos. He actually did a podcast by himself on YouTube about 2 weeks ago, and he was having problems with it. And so he was asking people while he was live on there to help him. And I started talking to him. And I'm like, dude, you know, go do this, get that, get it running. And I'm like, but you've done a bunch of videos. I've seen them all on YouTube. He goes, yeah, but that's different than when you're doing like a live podcast. But anyway, I was like, dude, I want your phone number. I'm gonna call you one day, and you're gonna have to walk me through this shit because I know the instructions are online, and I know you've done videos on how to do it. And you know what? It's not working for me. All right, and I want all these Capcom games on my Neo Geo Fight stick. So
Yeah, especially the ones they not or they can't re-release again.
yeah, I just love those CPS
Yeah.
2 games. Street Fighter and all the Street Fighter alphas, and
Yep.
there's a whole bunch more. It wasn't just fighting games; it was a bunch of different kinds of games.
I did download the Capcom. What was that called? The arcade thing on the Switch. It's on everything. It's on the Xbox and the PS.
No, 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 not yeah. I know what you're talking about, but you know what's new that's just out that's not on the other systems. It's just on the Switch, and I can't remember which one it was, but it's like a bigger retro Capcom thing, and it's just Switch right now. It's coming to the other systems, but it's not on there yet.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay, yeah, it's
Yeah,
not on
yeah,
the
yeah,
Xbox
yeah.
yet.
It's actually pretty good.
Another
Okay,
slap in the fucking face. I got so mad.
yeah, but it's supposed to be out on PS4 and Xbox eventually. I think the Switch
Yeah,
has a timed exclusive right now, but it's not much of an exclusive. It's like only for a few months.
I've got
Anyway,
another Capcom thing like that on the Xbox already that's got games. So, but I'll get this
yeah,
guaranteed because this is supposed to be better.
yeah, this one it has a lot. It has like 32 games. 2 of them you get free. Well, you get them free now. One will always be free. 1943, Ghouls and Ghosts, the original one. That one's free. I think only until the end of the month, and then it's $3 or something. Whatever. But I got it anyway. And then if you want to pay, and I'm sure this will go on sale. If you pay like I think $40, you get every other game, all the remaining the 30 games, and it comes with like a lot. Like it has Strider. It has a Street Fighter. They did put a couple of the Street Fighters on there. It has 1942, 1943, 1944, which
Yeah,
is
now all
cool.
those kind of games are on the one I got. I got the one
Yeah,
that was originally 360, but I got it for the Xbox One. But the Capcom arcade cabinet,
yeah,
like
yeah.
I'm clicking on that right now, and it's some of the games are just crap, and I had to pay extra to get all the games. It really pissed me off after I
I
got it.
hate that. Yeah,
Yeah, it was like you don't even get all the games. It was like, what the fuck? Oh, it just did the whole 360 logo and shit came up. I love that. Sounds turned down on it, so you didn't hear it. But yeah, I'm just looking because, and some of the games were like the early versions of Capcom games that they don't convert well to high def television, so they look like shit.
Yeah.
But M2 did it. This was an M2 deal, and they're the best at this kind of thing. But yeah, it was the 30th anniversary Capcom that I have. But the new one's what I want. The one you've got.
Yeah. Yeah.
But a lot of this shit on this 30th anniversary one, it just didn't work well on modern television. A lot of the games.
This one is great. This one has a lot of modernized features. You know, it has a rewind. It has the save states. It has all sorts of display options. It's ridiculous. So I
That's
think
the
you'll be
weird thing
happy with
about
it.
it. It comes up with like all these Capcom characters in a mismatch picture, and then it lets you highlight different little sections that'll be for that game. It's really weird.
No,
Ghost
this one.
Goblins, Commando, something called Savage Bees, but
Yep.
1942 and 43 are on there. But the
This
rest
one
of them,
actually is clever. It's a whole line of arcade games. It's really something, and you get to like to scroll through them. You can you can rearrange them. You can make some of your favorites, but it's really clever because it's all 3D, and the games are actually playing on the arcade games while you're scrolling through them. Yeah,
yeah,
like the
Avengers
demos.
is on this one, but yeah, it's not that many games are on it. But I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for stuff like this, and as soon as the next version comes out, I'll buy it again, or I'll have it for the Switch when I finally get my own Switch.
Well, it'll like I said, it'll be out for the PS4 and Xbox One or Series X soon enough. I mean, it's not hardcore exclusive, so if you wait a couple months, you should get it. I don't know the dates, but
No,
it's
I
definitely
read it
coming.
was coming. I don't know when. I just know it was
Yeah.
already out on the Switch, so it kind of made me mad. I'm like, really? I mean, this isn't like. I know I got it that they took that dirty black bag from Sony to get Street Fighter V exclusive for the PS4, which was total garbage move. But I mean, this is old arcade games. Really, you're gonna
Well,
not drop it on everybody at the same time?
that well that here well just kind of conversely, the one thing that the Switch never got, ironically enough, the one thing that would work perfectly on the Switch was the Disney Afternoon Collection. It was never
I have
released
that.
on Switch. Yep, so do I. But they never released it on the Switch. Everyone's like, why?
Yeah, I don't.
Now it's probably licensing because it's been out long enough where they probably lost the license. But um, I don't know. No, because I think you can still buy it. I think you can still get it on the PS4, the PS
Yeah,
and
I
the
think you
Xbox
can
stores.
too, as far as I know. But I don't know.
And I don't
I
know,
bought it immediately because
and
those
Steam,
are
of
some actually
course.
really good games.
Yeah, and those would work perfectly on the Switch. That they were Nintendo games. That's what no one knows why they didn't. But what they do is they give the Switch first dibs on the arcade. Okay, I guess. It's kind of weird. Capcom
Weird.
does things. I don't know what they do. I don't understand some of their business practices, but oh well. So
Yeah, the Chippendale and Darkwing,
hmm
they were well made games too. Holy crap!
yeah, and they have the rare ones, the ones you can't really get, or the ones that most people didn't. Chippendale 2, Ducktales 2. It's all on there, and they're great. I mean,
That was
I'm lucky.
digital
I have.
digital Eclipse
Yep.
instead of M2. Weird.
Yeah, they were before M2. They were like the premier. Um, um, oh my god, I can't think of it. Emulation experts. They did
Yeah, I'm
some good
looking at it
stuff.
now. I just brought it up. Yeah, you're right. DuckTales 2 is on it. I had this, but I'd only played a couple games. Chippendale Rescue Rangers 2,
And I can
DuckTales,
vouch for the because I have
Tailspin.
Ducktales 1 and 2 and Darkwing Duck, and yeah, they're pretty straight. They're straight on conversions. They're perfect the way they are.
Excellent.
So
That's what I like.
yeah, so you're getting the same experience you would on the original hardware, just with a different controller, obviously. But whatever.
Yeah, that's never mattered to me.
Yeah, Actually, I like the modern controllers better. People like, well, I want the original controller. How do I? Yeah, okay, that's fine. And I respect that. But for me, if a controller's better, because of the layout or something, and it
Yeah.
works, nothing wrong with that.
No, I much
So
prefer the Xbox controller now over anything in the past.
yeah,
And I used to always joke about the GameCube controller being the best ever, but in all honesty, the current controller now, and I'm not talking about the ones you got to pay $150 for.
no, I get it. I get it. Yeah,
Just the standard stock controller that comes with the Xboxes. It's pretty fucking amazing.
it
I know
is.
the PS4 has made huge strides, but I don't think they're still quite on that level yet. But I don't know. It's either way, it's still they've gotten better. They just still got their sticks in the wrong placement. I don't know why Sony's stubborn about that.
Well, that's what they started with. I mean, the
Yeah,
I
but
don't know why
the
either.
majority you've spoken. That's not the right way to do it. Go ahead and just fix it. And they just been stubborn about it, and it's weird.
What's kind of neat about the PlayStation um, uh, ecosystem, although I'll give them this. This is something I will give Sony. Since it is Bluetooth, you can actually get a controller like an Xbox controller, like a Bluetooth, and play it on the PlayStation. It'll let you, like the
Yeah,
8-bit DOS and stuff. So it's something you can do. I mean, I know it's not ideal. It's not like the original one. Although for me, I've gotten used to both formats, so I can switch. I mean, easily enough. I mean, even the Switch has the Xbox format. The Pro controller is basically an Xbox controller. It really is.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, so I don't know. That's just what Sony did.
I don't know the weight and everything. This Xbox, I got it in my hand right now, and it's a sliver smaller. Although I can't tell the difference between this and the original Xbox One controller as far as size, but supposedly it is slightly smaller. But again, the difference is so minute. They're sitting side by side, you can't even tell the difference. I guess
Yeah,
you have to really do a close inspection to realize it's smaller. But the main thing is they improved the latency, which was already amazing. So it's even better.
so okay, so if you use the old controller on the new Xbox, which I know you can do, is latency the same or is that improved?
It has not been improved yet, but
Okay.
it's coming. Where
Okay.
if you have an old controller plugged into your Series X or Series S, eventually it's not happened yet, but eventually it'll do an update for that controller
Cool.
and it'll get the better latency. They just hadn't put it out yet.
Yeah, the firmware update. Oh yeah, that's cool.
So that's why all those old controllers they're still going to be great. And I actually there's certain things about it I like slightly better than this because I don't care about the share button. I don't share anything, so I don't need it. So and I like the uh wow, I want to say plus sign. That is so really old.
You talking about the digital stick?
Well, there's not even a stick, just the
Not
you
the
know,
stick. I mean the digital pad.
yeah, the pad. I
Yeah.
like just the plus sign. I loved it. I loved it on. It's been on every Xbox controller. It's perfect. And they went with the the disc version of that, which I know is better. Is what they have on their Elite controller.
Hmm.
But I just, I mean, you can still see the plus sign in it, but it's concaved, and it's just one, plastic shell that sits down in there, and it rocks and all that, and it works better. I know. I just like
The
going all the way
original.
back to the, with the NES. I like what I like, and so that's why I'm glad that I've got a couple of the, Xbox One controllers, and I will not be getting rid of them. Although, to be honest, the only one I'm using right now is the one that came with my Series X because I know that it's got the improved latency and there's a little grippy feel to the backside of it that I really like.
I guess here's my question for you. Just as you as an individual, if you do play on the other one, do you really see a difference in latency?
No, good God, no, I cannot tell you.
I'm just curious. Some
Yeah,
people have this superpower they can, and I'm like, oh, not me.
no, not me.
Push a button, something happens. I'm happy.
Yeah, that's it.
But
Can't tell the difference. And then I actually, there's certain things I like about it. Though I've got like a day one OG Xbox controller, Xbox One controller. It's when you say OG, you should think of the original.
Yeah,
You
the
know, but
Duke.
yeah, I've got an original Duke too. I love
So do
it,
I.
and I've got the orange. I bought the orange Duke that's wired for the Xbox One. I have it. Uh,
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, I never
yeah,
got that,
it's
but yeah, I remember
it's
that.
so sweet. I wished I'd have bought two at the time. Now maybe I probably look and find another one, but I was hoping it's not wireless. It's wired, which sucks. But apparently for the wireless, I guess because again, it was Hyperkin that put it out. I think that's who put it out. Uh, yeah, it's Hyperkin. But it's real high quality. And it's just amazing. That I got the translucent orange one, but I think they also did a translucent green one. But I would have
Yeah,
liked two
green
of them.
green works better just because the Xbox green. It's always been
Yeah.
it's always been
Well,
their color.
it's got the big Xbox symbol in the middle of it, like original Duke had, and that's
Right.
humongous. So it still feels very Xbox-ish, even though it's orange. But I keep it its box, and its box has that green strip across the top, like Xbox One games do. So it's pretty awesome. But yeah, I thought that was great. I just wish they had done wireless, but I guess it was one of those deals where Hyperkin said no, it'll be too expensive. We can't sell enough that to make up for the cost or whatever. So they just did it wired. Maybe that's a good thing because mine ain't all worn out now. So I, I don't want to use it. It's more of just a cool thing to have.
Yeah, yeah. Some things are just collectible.
Yeah, and there's some things that are just so good. Like I was talking about with the GameCube controllers. I must have 8, 10 GameCube controllers.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm in the
brother.
same boat. Yeah, I got a ton of them.
Yeah, there was a time when I'd be at either yard sales or flea markets.
You know what's neat? On the Switch, because they have the converter for Smash Brothers. Um, the GameCube converter that plugs into the USB. So on the Mario 3D, not 3D World, the 3D Collection, Mario Sunshine, they finally patched in the ability to use the GameCube controllers with that, and
Cool,
it does work with the analog sticks, which is
cool.
really cool. Yeah, they have the triggers. So I just found that interesting that like a lot of you can actually use it for more than just that. It actually works with a lot of games. They don't talk about it, but it works.
I like to get one of those converters because I'm going to be getting a Switch, and my son's got one, but he would never use a
They're readily
GameCube
available.
controller
They're
on
about
it.
$20, but they're readily available. And they're
Uh,
four. Yeah, there's the four players. So you plug them both in. One thing I've learned about them is there's two USBs. It uses both of your USBs on the dock, but one is really just for the rumble power. The other one is for the actual controller. So you could technically, I don't know which one's which, but you can technically remove the rumble if you don't care, and then you can have like an 8-player thing going.
hmm.
It works.
Yeah, I don't ever really care about Rumble. I think that's a useless feature.
I know. I'm just saying though. And I know. I remember you saying that. So I'm just saying that that's kind of a neat little touch.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I love that controller. So yeah, that'd be cool to. I've got somewhere's a Wavebird, but it doesn't work. I didn't know if I ever wanted to try to get it fixed or fix it or just find another one. But I'm talking about a wireless
yeah.
GameCube controller.
Oh, I love the Wavebird.
Yeah,
God, that was
I
like
got one
it was the
somewhere.
first wireless
Yeah,
controller that worked.
that was good and worked. But the one I got doesn't work. I don't know what's wrong with it. And yeah, so it's just in a box of like 30 other controllers, bunch of Genesis. It's funny because all the other controllers work in it, but it's ones I don't need or don't use. There's a bunch of Genesis controllers in there, the old 3-button
Three
ones.
buttons, yeah.
I never use those anymore. I've got multiple
6,
6-button
yeah.
ones. Yeah. So I've just got a box of controllers that I'm not going to use. So that's where I throw that Wavebird.
Hey, if you want a fun little trick to do, if you have the game Forgotten Worlds in the Genesis,
I do.
try to play it with the 6-button mode active. It's hysterical. As soon as you start, you die. Game over.
Yeah.
It's really funny because the 6-button mode, the way the game reads it, there's no code for it, so it actually hits the next line of code, which is the game over screen.
Hmm.
I mean, you just turn it off and go back to 3 button mode to get the game to work, but you can't turn on the 6. It's just fun to do. It's like you turn on the 6 thing. It's like, all right, let's do this. Boom, game over, and they're like all upset because they couldn't get it. It's just funny.
I heard there was a couple games that had that kind of issue with it. I didn't know that was one of them, but I heard it.
It's just because of the code base of how the controller interacts.
That 6-button controller was sweet. It was basically identical, other than the shape, than the Saturn one that came out.
Yeah,
and they did a real good job with those.
Like I said, if for modern, 8BitDo has the M30 controller. That's the Sega/Saturn controller.
That's the one I need. That's the one I want to get. I still pray that someday they will release a Saturn Mini that'll be hackable and be able to put, at least a couple hundred games on. That would be something.
Well, they finally got where they need to be with the emulation for that. I mean, a lot of what was throwing it off was the multi-processing, but now that we have multi-core CPUs and things, I think they can.
I just play burn disk on my various Saturns, so. But that's what we were talking about earlier about them lasers do die, and I don't want to be repairing stuff.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
That's why I bought that Satinator. I don't know what it's called.
And I'll be honest, if my discs ever go bad, or if they get any laser rot or whatever for Panzer Dragoon Saga, I'm going to be very, very upset. I would love to get that in some other format other than the original discs.
I just don't want to have to buy some stupid cable to go HDMI out. I want to get Saturn games on a Mini where I've got a built-in HDMI that correctly outputs at 720p and doesn't do tricky shit to get it to do that. I mean, some of those things are amazing, I know, but at the same time, I just think
but if you want accuracy,
is much more elegant.
Yeah, and if you want accuracy with those, you're going to have to pay some money because they're not the cheap, the lower end cables. They're good enough. They're fine. I'm not knocking them, but there's always like little weird color variants or something.
There was a time where I was, on lists to get all the cables for almost every various system, and then I just didn't get. Whenever they dropped, I didn't get them. I guess because I knew the minis were coming, and then once those minis dropped, I'm like, I don't really need to buy an HDMI cable for my Super Nintendo. I've got the Mini with the entire library of games, and it's HDMI, and it outputs at 720p, and it looks amazing. Even on my 4K TV, it doesn't fuck it up, upscaling it. Looks great.
It's good. I know. I agree. Definitely.
That's why I pray for not just a Saturn. I want to see a Dreamcast Mini. But I don't know. It almost seems like they've stopped, the last one to come out. Well, no, Neo Geo's still doing crap. They released a bunch of weird minis that are built like little consoles.
Yeah.
I've got 2 of those, and I love them. They're the ones that are not very good. They don't output quite right, but they're not bad or anything. I'm not complaining on them.
I just think it's kind of neat. You can play right on the screen.
Yeah.
And it's not a bad LCD screen for what it is.
Now, I told you I bought the one for the that looks like a Sega arcade machine. That's pretty awesome, but I'm not hearing anything about anything being done for the N64 or Saturn. I don't know.
Yeah, I know.
I don't get why they don't see the value in that, because remember how many of those NES ones they sold? I mean, it was cutthroat, bloodthirsty, eBay.
They had 100%. They 100% sold out of their stock. 100%.
So why wouldn't you do an N64 Mini? I mean, because that's,
I don't know.
Yeah, it's crazy. It needs to be, and
maybe a GameCube Mini. That'd be nice.
Yeah,
that's a lot. I would think.
God, the Wii was backwards compatible with the GameCube. Everybody acts like Nintendo hasn't ever done backwards compatibility, but they really have. So I've got that hard drive hooked to a Wii that's got every GameCube game on it.
It's amazing. Yeah, I mean the Wii. Okay, so the Wii was backward compatible with the GameCube. The Wii U is backward compatible with the Wii,
Yeah,
like natively, and also the 3DS, the DS series, were all backward compatible with the previous versions.
yeah,
So up until the Switch, which isn't problem primarily because their format's different. They don't use CD; they use little game cards now. Um, yeah, Nintendo has been pretty good about BC. I mean, and it's like 100%. It's like every GameCube works with the original Wii's, and every Wii game works with the Wii's. So,
oh yeah,
I mean, I love the fact that the DS Lite had the Game Boy Advance port on it. That was awesome.
yeah. They did some good stuff in their time for that.
Yeah. So,
And
and 3DS is backward compatible with the DS stuff. So, yeah. Anyway, the point is, Nintendo has a lot of backward compatibility history, and
and
people
with the
forget
Switch,
that.
they just ported everything from the Wii U, which since they were, yeah,
Yeah.
and it was a smart move. When
Right.
they had all these dead spots where they wouldn't no new games coming out, they were able to fill their catalog with great games that are on the Wii U that nobody played anyway.
Yeah. So they're like new games for a
Yeah,
lot of people. People complain about that, but I'm like, when
I,
only 13 point something million systems were sold, and now you're up to 80 plus. Yeah, trust me, most people didn't play these games.
exactly. I just say, shut up. Nobody played that game. It needs to be out.
And a
There's
lot
still
of them are
more. They need more to
enhanced.
release.
Yeah, and they're
Heck, I want them to
enhanced.
start putting a bunch of the DS games on there.
That'd be awesome.
I'm like, there's some great DS games or 3DS, whatever you want to call it. Man, just port those onto the Switch. Fuck.
I want to see how they do the next system. I'm hoping that they keep the Switch theme going. Um, I think it works. It just put more powerful hardware in. I mean, there's a rumor that they're doing this, but until I see it, it's just a rumor. Um,
Well, I think they're going to do a full extra long generation, and they're doing the mid-gen upgrade with this Switch. It's going to have an OLED. It's going to have basically the same engine. So
yeah.
it's only going to be 720p when it's portable, but it's on OLED, so it'll look beautiful.
Oh, I know. I love the
And
Vita is amazing.
yeah, and then when you dock it, they're going to beef it up. Will they really beef it up all the way to 4K? I don't know. Maybe it'll only be 1440p.
I think it's going to be like an Xbox One S deal.
Yeah,
It's 1440. But you
exactly.
know what? That's okay.
Yeah,
That's
it is.
perfectly okay. I would love
It'll
that.
play everything. So that way you're not going to get a crap version of a
Right.
whatever multi-plat that's out there that needs to be on the Switch. That yeah, they've gotten some of those games, but they were pretty bad. And
Yeah, I know.
by
I
doing
agree.
it to mid-gen, it'll fill them out for the rest of the gener. For they'll get a full 8 or even 10 years. Is what I'd heard. That was Nintendo's plan. Was this current Switch is a 10-year life cycle, and it's going to be
With a mid-gen bump, yes, I can totally see it.
yeah.
Absolutely.
And then it'll be whatever will be after that. Who knows? It'll probably still be a combo, handheld and console. But at least for this gen, there'll be games that'll come out that'll get enhanced. They'll still play on your old Switch. It'll play on the new Switch where you'll get the enhancements.
Yeah, just like the Xbox stuff and
Yeah.
yeah. So that's cool. I mean, the only thing I want is a little bit better performance for those newer games. That's it. I'm good. Even if it's only 1080p, as long as they can maintain the frame rates, I'm okay with
Yeah,
that.
that's where something needs to be done where you can get improved frame rates and stuff.
Yep.
And I don't know how much of that stuff's going to be done because that would actually take basically the next chipset up from what the one they got. And that chipset's already been out for a couple of years. It's not like new either.
No, it's not. Yeah.
So the chipset that originally went into the Switch was already a couple years old, and the one that would go into this next one. So, but we'll see. Either way, I'm getting whatever comes out next.
Yeah. Yeah, I have honestly the Switch library with all the downloaded stuff is my biggest library of all systems. Mostly because of the retro stuff. I mean, the Switch does retro and those old arcade games perfectly.
Yeah, that's what I want it for, and I can't get my son to get those games, and he don't want to fill up his memory card with them. I'm like, well, fucking buy a second memory card and just put my games on it. And,
You can do that. You could totally
yeah,
do that.
yeah, people don't get it. You can just pop that one memory card out and put another one in with a completely different set of downloaded games.
And it's so easy to upgrade the memory cards. You don't even have to do anything fancy. All you do is if you want to upgrade from 128 gigs to 256, you take the 128 gig out, you you just copy the whole thing, root directory and everything to your PC, copy it to the new card, put the new card in. It works exactly like you never changed it. It's awesome. It's so simple, and people are like, "Well, you have to download it." No, you don't download anything. It copies everything, including all your licenses. It's awesome. It's also a good way to back it up. Like if you just want to back up your stuff, like you download it, maybe they delisted it or something. Back it up to your PC. It seriously, it just is when you copy it back, it's there. It's not a
Yeah,
problem. It's one thing I'll give Nintendo. I mean, I would love a better solution for save games rather than just a cloud. But that aside, in terms of just upgrading your cards and just getting your software to the next, no problems. Works exactly the way it should. So that's good. That's good news there.
all right, man. We've been on here for 2 hours and 45 minutes.
Yeah, I was gonna say
wrapping it up. We definitely don't want to go over 3.
No.
I'm pushing it as it is now.
People are either really bored or just they're like, I don't know. But anyway,
but again, it's everything but the kitchen sink podcast. Although I don't have a background, I need to fix that instead of doing the old.
You should do a background with a kitchen sink.
Yeah, I need to do something because right now it just shows BDXP.
Yeah,
not really what we do, so it's like, fuck, that's confusing enough. And then on top of that, I don't promote it very much. Well, I do when I'm on some other podcasts. I promote that we do a Saturday show. I missed Thursday show that I normally do with Mads Gaming, but I was sick as a dog Thursday. I woke up bad, and I think I had a stomach virus, or I ate something that was bad.
Right. Yeah.
It messed me up. So, but I'll be back on this show next week. But I always say, I got my own show on Saturday night with you and mention it, but it's not helping none because I don't drop videos. That's the problem. I think I really gotta buckle down. I got a nice camera, does 1080p that I can, I got an external microphone with a little fuzzy ball on the front of it, hooked to a tripod. But then I just don't do the videos. I don't know. I had it all set up and I was going to do different things and I just never got around to doing it. And then I got really bad sick. And then now that I'm a little bit better, it's like, well, I'm doing a podcast with you and then I do the show with Mads Gaming, but I don't, wanted to do the videos. But that's the key. I think you got to drop them videos to get YouTube subscribers and then your numbers will go up on your podcast shows.
I agree. But especially if they're short and sweet, just little nibbles and tidbits here and there, and then
I don't want to do gameplay. I'm not going to record me playing games and stuff. Everybody does that, and there's plenty of people who do it way better than I could ever do it. So I think if I do videos, it's going to be more about movies or just straight up me talking about certain games for a review. And I don't know if anybody wants to see that. It might. But I don't know that it has to be good as long as you got content, you throw enough stuff on there, somebody will watch it. Yeah. I know I watch some crap videos on YouTube. And some days I just go from one video to the next, and it's like, what the fuck, man? Stop it. I had to yell at myself to stop watching crap and then go do something. It's crazy.
No, hey.
Easy to do, man. It's like a sucking hole of nothingness that is on YouTube. That's
I say do it. I say just you can't you have nothing to lose. I mean, you know what I mean? You seriously, I say just do something like that, and who knows? Maybe you'll achieve
I
your goals.
I even started scripting some stuff out for I was going to do Mojo's milkshakes and movies. I was going to make a couple of at least a different flavored milkshake each week, and then talk about a couple different movies. While I was making the shakes and stuff. But again, with movies, there's that fine line. You're allowed to just use content from the movie, but you got to know what you can and can't put in your clip. And I've never understood that, and I've never get anybody to explain to me. Do I
Eh,
just download stuff from the internet, or do I use my copy from a Blu-ray or DVD? It can only be certain snippets, and music's a
yeah,
big thing will cause you to get hit, and
it
it's
has
like
to.
I'll
There's a
just talk about
whole
the fucking movie and hold the disc in my hand.
yeah. There's a whole rule set behind that. I
Yeah,
know what you
I
mean.
watch a lot of movie review shows and stuff, especially ones that review genre movies, horror stuff and science fiction, and they're great. But it's like if you don't know what you're doing, you'll get those hits, bam, 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 and you're gone. They pull you off the YouTube, and so you got to know what you're doing, and you can't just say fair use because I'm reviewing a movie. It's yeah, there's lots of stuff goes into it.
Oh, I know. I know.
I
Especially
watched one guy on his show. I don't even know his name, but he's got a lot of views now. He's horrible. He has no personality, no charisma for being on air. Movies, movies at home. But here's the thing: he got better. He's gotten better, and he's gotten better. And he's got people to send him free movies. And I think they somehow he got money for like a big screen TV that he put in his room, his theater room, and he did it all off his YouTube channel. So God bless him. I still don't think he's very good, but yeah, he did. He's living the dream. So
well, that's what they. Well, like I said, give it a shot. You have nothing to lose.
yeah, I've got the corner of my living room where I've got bookcases set up with movies and stuff. There's like a little cubby hole where you're supposed to put a computer. I guess it was apartment designed it, whatever. I don't know, but it's a place for a computer. But to the right and to the left on each side is a bookcase, and I thought, well, I'll put a seat in there and have some different props and things and stuff up, and then just talk about whatever movie or game, and then I don't know if I'll cut the camera or walk with it with me into the kitchen as I'm going to do the milkshake thing. I don't know if I'll do the milkshake thing because then you got to sound silly, but you know what? And I got so far as I bought like various ice creams. I ordered a couple of books with milkshake recipes and stuff. And I got a vintage 1950s diner style milkshake maker, which I've had that forever. But yeah, it's pretty cool. And then I bought a new version. It's a little bit smaller, but it's like the Hamilton Beach version of a milkshake maker they sell nowadays. It's actually pretty cheaply made compared to the real one I have. But I worry about that real one dying out. So I thought, if I'm gonna be doing a bunch of these, I better just buy something. Just have the old school one sitting there. But anyway, thing is, I didn't do it. I got sick, and then I did it. So now I need to get back. I need to drop some videos, and hey, we actually have somebody watching.
Oh,
Oh,
hello.
God, cool. That was at 10:50. That's right now. He just popped up. Good man.
Hello,
Yeah,
sir.
that's my
Thank
boy.
you.
He's the one did my little Mojo Blues thing.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, yeah, he did an excellent job on it. And I
Nice.
even got that symbol on some T-shirts from his online store thing. Uh,
Awesome.
yeah, that was pretty cool. I'd show up at work wearing a T-shirt with a cartoon picture of me on it. And people
Hey,
got kicked out of that.
that's awesome. Yeah, I
Yeah, I
love the
don't work
picture.
anymore, so now I just play retro games and a few new games. But I'm more retro than anything. But That's why I love talking about those minis and stuff. We get in those conversations. I mean, for God's sake, I got the C64 mini. I mean,
Hey, nothing wrong with that.
yeah,
Nothing wrong with that.
I just wish they'd put more out. I'd love to like see a Saturn one, a Dreamcast one, an N64 one. For God's sakes, Nintendo. How many of those things do they sell for the NES and Super Nintendo? Why would you stop? I mean, that's like a license to print money on any given Christmas season, and they just stop doing it.
I don't understand what they do half the time. It's Nintendo.
And you know what? They don't even. There's no question about having to go to a third party. 90% of all the N64 games were fucking first party. They had hardly any third party
I
games.
know.
So you could put just 20, 30. There's plenty of all your first party games. So you don't got to license anything. Throw it on your N64 mini. And I don't want to hear about, oh, well, it was to do with that console's old. I guarantee you a mini can do it. And there's emulators that can run all the N64 games. So they could easily do it on a mini.
I know. Heck, they could probably do it on the same processors they were doing on the Super Nintendo and NES.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. Wouldn't doubt it a bit. Or they can just move one up, another chipset higher.
Yeah, something.
Wouldn't be that hard to do. I mean,
they're still inexpensive, comparatively speaking.
I mean, there are chipsets for consoles that have thousands of games on them, including the N64 and some of the harder ones, the PSP games and things like that. They all work. So they could easily do minis for the N64 and the GameCube.
Absolutely.
But for whatever reason, they just stopped. I don't know. They guess they needed something until they could get the Switch out. I hate to say that. That's almost what those two mini consoles was. Hey, we got something to bring some money in because nobody's buying Wii U's, and then we'll drop the Switch on them and we'll be okay.
Yeah, especially now considering that the online service has the free games.
But even they haven't went to the N64, have they?
No, they have not. No, just Super Nintendo and Nintendo.
That was what was cool about the Wii because they actually had Sega
games everything.
And
God,
graphics. It was awesome.
Then they had arcade games and the Neo Geo games at one point. They had everything. I mean, it was I missed that. Even had some Japanese. They actually released Rondo, of Blood in Castlevania, the TurboGrafx. You know, the CD version right on the Virtual Console. I'm like, whoa. I mean, I have it. I'm thrilled I have it. But, I mean, now it's on the Mini. But still, it's like,
Yeah, I got it on my Wii with the Virtual.
Yeah.
That's got an SD card down in it. That is so cool.
But yeah. So
anything news wise before we get off here? Because we are getting close to 3 hours. That's a long podcast. So.
Yeah, I have nothing. The
big thing was the Bethesda news, and that's that's all great for Xbox. I'm glad they got them exclusive and got that cleared up. Although I always knew that they were going to be exclusive, but sometimes you just got to beat people over the head with it because they don't.
Yeah. And the only thing I could say is, like I said, if you want the a good Genesis Saturn controller, M30 by 8BitDo, but for now, until they can fix their little bricking receiver issue, I would avoid the retro bit version.
Yeah, like I said, I've got the ones for the TurboGrafx. I got one that's shaped like a TurboGrafx controller, and the other one's shaped like a PC Engine controller, and those are both 8BitDos. So I'll get the M30 one because I do want that.
Yeah, it's I
don't actually want it for my original consoles. I just want it back to be used as my daily drivers for those consoles because you don't know when those original controllers are going to die, and I can't repair anything. And there's not like gaming. There's not repair stores where you can take it, and I don't want to be sending stuff off. And stuff dies over time, so it's like cool. These are really good replica models. And I still love playing them, old games on consoles because they're like animation and cartoons that they don't get old. To me, they don't anyway. They look great. Although
I
eight
agree.
bit, 8-bit, I get a little, yeah, and then but then there's so many great games that was put out during that time. It's like, okay, whatever, great.
Yeah, it depends. Like, it depends on the game too. Like Mega Man aged well. Castlevania ages pretty well. Some of them don't
Well, the
age
Super
so well.
Nintendo ones aged really
Oh
well.
yeah, those are gonna be, yeah, that definitely.
Yeah, the
16-bit and
16-bit,
beyond is definitely up. Yeah,
yeah, you output them at 720p and put them on a 1080p or 4K TV, either or. They just look great. It's like you're playing a cartoon.
yep,
I'm great with it, but there are some 8-bit games that look pretty bad. That was like, yeah,
yeah.
whatever.
No, I mean they definitely
The
are.
old arcade games, some of them look pretty bad. It wasn't until about that CPS one with Capcom, and I mean the other companies, Tato or Tato, however they pronounce it, and uh, several of them had their arcade machines that got boards in them that were really really good, and those games still hold up. But yeah, I think we're gonna have to get off here.
Yep. All right.
Uh,
Well,
Only because we are actually at 3 hours. Right? We started at 8, so 9, 10. Like, holy shit, 3 hour podcast. Cool. It was fun.
no, definitely always fun. Yeah, and I can be reached. You can find me on Twitter, Gray with an E, GREY, Gray Wolf Gamer One. Um, and yeah, look for my icon. My icon on Twitter is the same as what you're seeing on the podcast right now. And feel free. I mean, I'm open for chats and talking and whatever.
Yeah, mine's the same as always. Mojo underscore blues or Mojo Blues one on both YouTube and Twitter. Again, mostly on Twitter because I'm not making videos, but the time will come. I keep saying it, but I think I'll finally get around to doing something just so I can drop some videos on my channel. And that was the real graphic guide, by the way, that is on here. That's watching us. I was looking
Nice.
at the little picture that come up on the side, and I wasn't sure if that was him or somebody just stealing his name. But I see he retweeted my tweet saying Graphic God and Gaming Werewolf retweeted my tweet. So cool.
Awesome.
He must. Yeah, I see why he came in late because a little while back I retweeted it out. So cool. I guess in the middle of a podcast, it didn't hurt to retweet, get anybody in.
Sure.
I should have sent him the link, but it's too late now. We've been on 3 hours. I'm not going to go another 2 hours. But,
Longest podcast ever.
yeah, that's pushing it. We've been on 3 hours. So, but Graphic God, if you're still listening, one of these Saturdays I'll remember and I'll send you the link. And if you want to come on, he's good to have on a podcast. He does the retro Renegades show.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's the
Cool.
one that's behind it and
Oh, nice.
kind of like the main dude there. And
Very
he
cool.
used to help Crap and Mooch out until they both weirded out. And he's done a lot of stuff, but he'll do, you know, background things and other stuff for you. He's the one that did my BDXP background and my picture. Only because I'm too lazy to do that kind of stuff myself. So
That's
yeah.
okay. I have a friend that did my picture, so I'm not that talented. At least not in terms of pixel art. So, but
Yeah, I don't want. He made me one. I'm stuck with it because I'm not worried about getting a different one. Although I do need to get a different background one, so maybe I'll give him a call one of these days and say, "Hey, I need something, everything but the kitchen sink background," and that'll be cool. And actually, I think I could just delete the BDXP off, and that background of mine is just various controllers from various systems.
yeah, that works.
Yeah, and that'll be really good. So I'll see if I can. I'll have to copy the one he made for me over to like a blank slate and then see if I can remove it without fucking it up. I can remove the letters or whatever and do a little cutting and pasting to make it one thing. And then I don't know about trying to use some other way of typing words into it, and not have it look stupid.
Yeah, you can just leave the background and
Yeah, and then when you go live, you have to put in that show title and all that.
yeah,
That's why I can put everything but the Kitchen Sink podcast is the master title, and then what the show's going to be about below it. I think that's what shows up on YouTube anyway. So yeah, that's something I think about doing to try to get some people in here. Although again, we don't want to be too successful. I mean, yeah, but I'll be
send
honest.
money
I'd like to get
to
more
PO
than one.
Box. I'm kidding.
I'd like to get more than one person live like we got right now. That's kind of like, especially because I've been on some big podcasts. I've been on the Iron Lord show. I've been on a bunch of Mr. Boomstick shows. You'd think we'd be able to get 10 or 15 people in here or something. Good
Yeah.
Lord.
Oh God, they have hundreds. Yeah.
Yeah, we got to work on up in but again, we only do it like every other week, it seems like. So, and I don't think that's going to change. And I don't really want it to change. We just do what we do. So, two guys talking games and
Yep.
anything. So, nothing wrong with that. All right, man.
All right.
I'm gonna kill it. Hopefully, we'll be back next week. If not, the week after that, we'll be here Saturday.
Thank
Saturday
you.
night that thing.
And thank you for listening, and thank you for showing up.
Yeah,
Appreciate
thanks
it.
for having me on. Whoever catches it later, it'll live on YouTube on my
Yep.
so-called channel. All right, thanks everybody.
Thank you.